Hello, and welcome to Tinker Tailor's Solder Fry, the Let's Try program here on the mighty Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network. My name's Ian Horner.
And I'm Kathleen, and today we're putting the fry back into the show's name.
Back again with the frying. Finally, we get to break out the new stuff sent to us by Texan Reverend, the Sultan cooktop and his pots and pans.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So what are you going to be doing today?
Today I'm going to show people how to make a one-pot pasta, aka I need food, but I don't give any fucks.
And do it well, mind you.
Yeah, delicious food.
There are plenty of ways to make some real bad food with a single pot.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now, I had originally planned to bring my really large cooktop, or my really large pan. I have a huge pan like this. It's like this. So you can do almost an entire package of pasta in it. This is much smaller, so we're going to be making a smaller portion for everybody. So I have to adjust my ratios a bit. But hey, you know what the great thing is about cooking? Cooking is not baking.
Yes.
Nothing has to be exact.
That is exactly correct. I
So.
did pizza last night with the dough, and I've converted all of my baking recipes over to by weight.
Oh, such a good idea.
No, it's so much easier to stick the pot on the scale and just like dump. And more exacting, too.
Yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while you're taking care of that, I'll be continuing on trying to take this and
Make them friends.
make them friends, yes. Much better than making a pineapple apple pen pun, which isn't going to work. So that means I'm going to need to take this back apart. And you are going to need to wash a pan.
Yeah, this is fresh out of the box, and if you've ever bought cookware, do not use it fresh out of the box. Just take it to your kitchen, give it a quick rinse. You don't know what has been in that industrial pot manufacturing environment, but, I mean, probably stuff.
It'll be toxic.
Yeah, exactly. So just a quick rinse with a swish with soap and water just for safety. So do you want to take over?
Yeah, I'll do
cut
that.
my mic and then...
Just to remind everyone, we'll be going through the subs at the end of the show because we are going to be very focused on what we're actually doing in front of us. Well, Kathleen's gone. Let's play ourselves a nice little game of 3-card Monty, eh? Come on, chat. Find the dice. Can you see it? Oops. Which one do you think it could be? Is it here? Clever. Or is it here? Oh. What could be under here? What? No dice. Oh! Ah, well, that went really terribly.
Yeah, from the angle we had it on, you can see the dice being stuck in the thing.
Yeah. We're going to use the cups to hold on to our screws as we start taking this guy away. Apart, not away. They're staying with us for a while. Yeah, we're going to have a fun time trying to remember how it comes apart. We're not going to be the network adapter nor the SD card until things are done. For the moment, actually, maybe I'll take a second to show everyone what's going to happen here. So, this, if we want Heather to have a look at it, is this is a pinout for a IDE cable, which is what the Dreamcast actually runs on. It's fairly similar to a computer, but what we need to do is take cables 2, 19, 22, 24, 26, 30, and 40 and connect them to ground, and then 20, 28, 32, 34 are not used, and the rest of them go there. And then we need to, if we can come back, here's the diagram of where all those, the remainder of the pins go. So, this is going to be fun. Okay. And I have put together a new camera today for us as well, to help me out with when the soldering time comes. Come on. There we go. Now you can see what I see directly in front of, with this tiny webcam mounted on top of the armature. Okay. So let's get started with the traditional disassembly. Ow. Ow. Remember, kids, life is pain.
We should really start a paint counter for this.
pain counter?
Yeah. Just for the show.
Okay, that's the size of screwdriver we want. Good. Okay, where to put the tools? The problem with doing this in a studio that's multi-use is that there's less room than you'd like to move things around. Welcome back, Kathleen.
Yay, I'm back.
Yay!
Kathleen, can you move your mic? It's above the speaker.
Oh, sure. Here, 1 second. Keep it off.
Aha. Because we're working with non-hard drives right now, and also because it doesn't matter, we're going to magnetize the screw bit driver.
Corey, how's that? How is this, Corey?
I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted by Ian magnetizing that screwdriver. It's good. You're perfect.
Okay. So while Ian's taking out screws, I'm just going to go over what I've got here. So I have some organic Italian pasta. This is gemelli, which is long twists. Now, why are you so fancy, Kathleen? Well, truth be told, you can get these at Costco and they're pretty cheap. You can get 6 bags for like, I think $8 or $9 in Canada, so it's even going to be cheaper. And because the main component of this dish is pasta, you do not want to cheap out on your pasta. Nothing in here is truly expensive, but whatever the star of your dish should be the highest quality you can make it. So if I'm doing something like this, it's really important to have good tasting pasta with good chewiness and good texture.
Dried pasta is really a bargain too, isn't it?
Yeah, this is still really cheap. Like, you can get much more expensive pastas at like that'll be sort of similar quality at like an Italian grocery or just like a higher end grocery store. Mm-hmm. Now then again, if I was making like spaghetti bolognese, I'd probably just use whatever spaghetti I got at the grocery store.
Again, because it's not the star of the show.
Correct. Then you're going to want to put your resources into getting just lots of quality meats and your tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Actually, for that, I use the most plain tomato sauce base I can and add the flavors elsewise.
Oh, okay.
By doing like red wine and stuff like that. Anyhow, and it's not very traditionally Italian how I make my spaghetti sauce, but it is good. So anyhow, good pasta.
I just found out actually that these wormwood boxes, in addition to being a good dice box, are a fantastic project box for things that will fit in them.
Right, because they don't move around at all.
And then you could even use this tray here for holding the loose screws and whatnot.
If you want to order your own wormwood box, it's code LUR for free shipping within the US and LUR World for $10 off internationally.
Yes. Got to get that in there.
Hey, they don't sponsor this stream, but anyhow.
They sponsor everything here.
Next ingredient, garlic. Also very important. Ian, do you like garlic?
I am a big fan of garlic.
Corey and Heather, who are working behind the scenes, do you guys like garlic?
Sure.
I'm getting thumbs up. There's a lot of garlic in this dish. Garlic is flavor, garlic is life. And I have salt and pepper. I've brought these from home. These are my pepper. This is my salt mill and my pepper mill. This is, of course, whole black peppercorns, and this is coarse salt that I have.
I've never asked you, Kathleen, where do you land on the whole jars of...
Flaky sea salt?
yes.
I
that's
literally
a good
have a
question.
jar of flaky sea salt that I keep at home for cooking with.
That's good. I was going to ask jars of pre-minced garlic. I mean, you've got that right now.
Here's where I land on this. If you have any kind of mobility issues or arthritis in your hands, do what works for you. But what gives garlic and onions and other aromatics their flavors is the oils within them. So when you cut them and cook with them, you are releasing the oils directly into what you are cooking. Cutting them up ahead of time and then leaving them for months or pickling them and putting them in a jar means you're going to get a reduced quality and reduced flavor ingredient. I think you should buy and use fresh garlic for your recipes if there's nothing preventing you from doing so. That said, if you have hand issues and it's just way too much work, just add garlic and to your taste and use whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not here to judge you. All right, next up we have butter. Butter is important because we're going to be using it to saute our mushrooms, and we'll be adding it to our pasta at the end to enrichen the flavor and improve the silkiness. A little butter at the end of many dishes, it will make your sauces better.
Same question, find replace butter for margarine.
Absolutely not.
Agreed.
Now, what if you wanted to make some cookies and you needed to make a lot of cookies and it would be financially irresponsible for you to use butter to make all of those cookies? Your cookies aren't going to be as nice, but you can sure use like a tub of imperial margarine. But for this, the butter is going to be adding flavor to our dish. It's going to be adding a silkiness afterwards, as well as just like a richness. Like if you make a gravy or any kind of sauce, you just add like a teaspoon of butter at the end and it will improve the silkiness and the flavor of your sauce. That little bit of fat's really good. And like I said, this dish doesn't have that many ingredients, so we want to make sure everything is as high quality as possible. Butter is quite expensive in Canada, but it's not that expensive in the States. So I recommend you use butter if possible and financially feasible. Next we have cream. This is 18% table cream. I could have gone full whipping cream in this. I could have gone half and half. I opted for this because I wanted to have some dairy left over to leave in the office fridge.
It's a nice happy medium, and I find that too much milk fat can sometimes actually be too much for the recipe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not afraid of that because I love milk fat. This is a really cheap cutting board that I have that I brought from home just because it's good to have a cutting board. And then for expedience, I have bought, I didn't realize quite how small this pan was. I brought some pre-sliced cremini, aka brown, and white mushrooms, aka white. These are just regular button mushrooms. I just didn't want to sit here washing and chopping on screen. These are ready to go.
Criminy.
So, okay. Oh, and then the cheese. So I would normally do this with Parmesan, but we are almost out of Parmesan at home, and we had this Manchego, to which I can hear Graham being like, "My cheese!" because this is his favorite cheese.
Oh,
I
no.
will replace this. The thing I forgot to bring, though, was a cheese grater.
Ooh.
So I'm going to be sort of making little choppy chops.
I don't have a rasp with me, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fine. When I'm sauteing the mushrooms, I will just start like chopping this up finely. This is to add at the end, just to add flavor and richness and deliciousness to our recipe. The nice thing about Manchego is it's a really nice aged sheep's cheese. It has a lot of flavor. You want to give that a smell, Ian?
Oh, that's kind of smoky.
Yeah, any kind of firm cheese will work in this. I honestly have never made it with Manchego, so I don't know if I'd recommend it. But you know what? Cooking's experimental. We're about to find out.
G says, "My cheese."
My cheese. I will replace
We do have that brie. We do have that brie in the fridge.
Oh, we do have brie. I wonder if I could melt brie into it.
I mean, you could, but
I think this is the better fit.
let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
No, let's use the Manchego,
Okay.
and I'll just buy more Manchego cheese. As you
Good
can see
cheese.
from the price tag that's still on this, Manchego cheese is quite expensive. Cheese is very expensive in Canada. Dairy is expensive in Canada. Things aren't subsidized
Which
to the
is
same
which
degree.
is strange because we have a lot of dairy farms.
All right, so let's get started. We actually don't need the lid for this at all, so I'm going to take the lid, even though I've given it a wash.
Also, to assuage anyone's fears, I'm not going to be doing the soldering on the wormwood box. That
Oh,
would just
yeah.
be irresponsible.
No, we'd yell at you. Oh, wait, I forgot the last thing that we have here. This, in its own tea towel to protect it,
Oh.
is one of my knives, because I have a full set of knives at home. This is for chopping my garlic. And I'm not going to go over knife skills, because honestly, I'm going to be totally frank with you, my knife skills are atrocious. I have terrible knife skills. I'm afraid of knives.
There are other places people can go to learn knife skills.
Yes, I'm sure somebody will be like, how is she demonstrating cooking? She cannot chop. I'm no Jacques Pepin, we'll put it that way. I'm barely a Julia Child. But we have a knife, which is very important, but is really the only tool we need. And we have some fresh basil that I've taken from my large basil plant at home. How's your shoot of my basil friend
Your
doing?
shoot of basil has gone nuts. I think it's at the point where they're all flowering all the time, always, forever.
Oh, yeah, mine. I've had to start like sort of aggressively taking the flowers off, because then the flowers drop off and leave detritus everywhere.
You might recognize my sprig of basil from Kathleen's plant from the pizza episode.
Oh, is that you just took home an unused
I
sprig?
took the unused parts of that and
Nice.
sprouted them in water, and now they just won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, this is a particularly, I would say, aggressive strain of African blue basil. I'm gonna have to be standing to cook. You can't cook and sit at the same time. It's weird.
Forgot. Heather, could you bring me, please, a piece of or a roll of masking tape?
Masking tape?
Yes, please.
Does it matter what kind of masking?
No, just masking tape that can be written on.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. Because there are so many of these wires that have to go to different locations, I'm going to actually mark them off. So I'm going to see if I can preserve as much wire as I can from this this thing, just in case I need to strip more of it.
I have no idea how this thing
Oh,
works.
that's why I kept the manual out, because I have no idea either. Thank you, Heather.
Well, I pushed the button that says on and then the flame button.
Okay, that's a good start.
Is this...
Apparently you can set it via temperature or
oh,
via just heat.
oh, okay. 1,000 watts is
intensity.
medium. So we're going to set it to medium high. Spoilers, kids. You're going to... Most of the time, I think people are afraid to use heat while they're working on things, and they don't cook their food hot enough. That's something I had to get over as a fear. And so, like, unless the instructions specifically call for simmering, crank your element up to like 6, because otherwise you'll never get a nice sear on your meat. You won't be able to evaporate the liquid out of vegetables.
Now I like to actually I like to crank my heat maximum, then add my oil, and then bring it down.
I never do that because I'm afraid of burning my oil and or butter or whatever I happen to be using. So I always just sort of like try to bring things up to heat. This thing is cooking this thing is going fast though.
Oh yeah, that's the magic of induction cooking, is that the heat is almost instantaneous, but also extremely precise.
All right, well,
It's
I thought I'd have more time. Hey, Ian, cremini or white? Let's go cremini.
Yeah.
Brown mushrooms or white mushrooms?
I always thought it was pronounced criminy.
No, that's like criminy.
Yeah,
Right.
Criminigismus.
That's like things that prospectors say.
Sure. Prospectors. What's a good spudger that I can use? This is my soldering kit.
So this is not how I recommend it. Hey, you're up to temperature. Fantastic. That
Hey.
you how you deal with cheese, but this is how we're going to deal with cheese because
It's gonna work. It's.
I just need to make some sort of cheese shred, and I may as well do it while my mushrooms are sautéing.
We are no strangers to. We are no strangers to adapting tools to new uses on this show.
Well, I have a beautiful box grater at home.
No doubt, but
Which I left there.
that's often the problem.
Actually, I guess I do want to use my lid because what I want is gloriously sautéed and not dried out mushrooms. Salt makes the world go around. Boy, you're adding a lot of salt, aren't you, Kathleen? Did you know that different salts have different levels of saltiness, Ian?
I did. Yeah.
So if you get like an iodized table salt, it's very salty. If you get like a sea salt, not as
Not
salty.
so much. In fact, one of the best, the current going for chefs in terms of how much you should salt something, is right up to the point where you're not sure whether it's too salty or not salty enough.
Well, people are like, why is restaurant food so good? And I can never cook that well at home. I guarantee, because a chef is so much more willing to add butter and salt than you are at home.
Because they have flavor.
Now, of course, you don't want to do something like that every night,
No.
but, you know, and, like, you don't need to add butter and salt to everything. Like, I rarely salt, like, vegetables that I'm making and stuff like that. But, you know.
Well, salt is also very good at taking at bringing moisture
Yes.
out of whatever you're cooking.
Which
So
is,
if you're-
I don't want runny, goopy mushrooms.
Yeah, if you're trying to reduce moisture content like you want with your mushrooms,
Or if you're
lots of
making,
salt, good idea.
if you're going to make duxelles or something like that, which is like very finely chopped mushrooms that have been basically had the ever-loving Christ cooked out of them till they're almost just like a pate.
Oh, how do I want to deal with these wires? So I've got the wires, I've got the connector off one end. And thankfully I know, boy, oh boy. Yep, I'm just going to have to go with it. So I'm glad I showed you all the diagram, because now comes the fun of simply just knocking out these wires.
I feel like I'm in one of those like animated Facebook videos that like shows you how to cook a dish. And it's like a top-down shot. And yeah, I know those are silly, but I do watch a lot of those.
This is one of the best uses for the overhead camera we've had. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some experimentation here to make sure. I may have taken the wrong end off that connector.
Right, you can't take your. Hey Heather, can you bring me another small bowl?
Yeah.
Thank you. I just need something to put cheese in.
Let's see. Paperclip too, or I think I can get away with just using
Perfect, thank you.
something in here. Oh yeah, that hook looks like it'll fit. And thanks to Lord Hosk for the soldering set that I'll be using today.
Oh man, do we have any open white wine in the fridge?
I don't think we do, but
We might have on the top shelf. It might be left over from like some sort of desert bus event. Because that would really kick these mushrooms up to the next level. So you might be thinking, boy, Kathleen, your mushrooms look like you're cooking them under such high heat. Yeah, because I want them to be brown, and because brownness is flavor. And now they're happily cooking away.
okay, I'm gonna
I
have
love
to.
the paper instructions away from the
The heat source?
the heat source, the cooktop.
I'm honestly considering replacing, if and when I move, replacing my standard cooktop with.
Oh,
That's what we got.
well, this is a screw top, so
Yep. Trust me, the wine will be consumed.
something will happen. Turn that back up because you want the alcohol to cook out of your wine and not just, you don't want the wine to sort of sit around on your mushrooms and make them kind of soggy. Is my microphone still okay?
So far.
So far? How about I move it again, Corey?
Go for it.
Those are pretty deep. Do we have a paperclip around here or anything like that? A paperclip or a pin, like a sewing pin.
Moving my microphone for the third time to avoid making Corey upset. All right, there we are.
Chat wants to know what white wine is being used.
5 Vineyards by Mission Hill. It's a 2013 Sauvignon Blanc. It was undoubtedly cheap.
It is nothing special.
Now, here's the great thing. Sauvignon Blanc is actually kind of gross, and I don't like drinking it, but it's fine to cook with.
Safety boots?
Yeah, safety pin should be fine. I just need to get deep inside this connector.
If you ever want to, like, I want to start cooking with wine, just buy the cheapest. Like, obviously, flavor in is flavor out, but you don't need to spend a lot of money on that.
Okay, good. Now I know. Now I know.
Ian, what are you up to?
I now know which connector in here is pin 1, and that's very important.
I'm proud of you, man.
Okay, so where we are at right now is that I'm going to be, this is boring but intricate work, because I'm going to be taking this little piece here and separating out all the wires, pretty far probably too, because I'm going to want a lot of space, and then stripping the ends so that I am able to start soldering these to the various points on here. That's when the fun truly begins. It's not like we're against the clock, but
So you mentioned that you would be that if you ever move, you want to change your stove to like an induction cooktop.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of how well these work. I haven't actually used this one yet.
It's so fast.
Yeah.
Now, when we moved from our apartment, which had a very functional apartment stove, and it certainly functioned as a stove, to our new place, which has a full size and much higher quality stove, and boy, does it ever heat up faster and cook more evenly. But this heats up even faster again.
Like I've thankfully got, weirdly, the apartment I moved into has basically exactly the same stove that I had back in my apartment that I bought for myself.
Really?
Which is coil top with self-cleaning oven. And those are almost impossible to get these days.
Really?
Yeah. And the reason I wanted coil top was that I cook with cast iron, so I don't want to scratch the
So coil top being like the elements?
Yeah, just the exposed element rather than the internal elements.
Right, yeah. That's the kind of stove I have nowadays.
Yeah.
The person who owned our apartment or our condo before us liked to cook as well. So maybe that's why the coil top stove. It's a nice coil top stove.
If I have my druthers, what I'd love to do is get induction for a cooktop and then a separate oven, not necessarily...
Like a wall oven?
Yeah. It
Do you
doesn't
do a lot of baking?
Strangely, yeah, I use my oven more than I thought I would.
Interesting. You know what I want to start working on is baking my own bread, Ian. There's some really good things out there for bread baking. Like the New York Times no knead bread recipe. I actually went out and bought yeast last time I went shopping.
Have you ever tried that recipe?
No.
I used to make that a lot.
Is it good?
It is very good. It is very easy to make.
Yes, it just requires time. I don't have like a lidded cast iron pot though.
Oh, that's...
Well, I had a cast iron Pyrex pot, but I dropped the lid when we moved, and now it's gone. All right, so if you look, I've now all of the liquid, which actually wasn't that much, has just sort of like evaporated and coated my mushrooms, and they're very rich and delicious. And I'm just gonna. They're not soggy. There's still some crunch to them, and yes, I did eat that directly out of the pan with my fingers because I've been cooking for long enough that my fingers and mouth no longer feel heat the way humans do. And Graham calls me good old asbestos hands. But chefs cook and taste things as they go, right? You have to cook and taste. Right? You can't just wait till it cools off and when you're done cooking. So I'm going to set aside these mushrooms for this dish. That's an optional step to cook the mushrooms, but Ian, do you want to smell those?
Oh, I can smell it from here. And that is spectacular. 4. Sorry, I'm going to be counting out loud until I get to 19. 5. 6. 7 and 8. I probably should split those. Oh.
Ian, what are you drinking?
I am drinking 7, 8. I am drinking the Moonbase Munich Dark Lager.
Which you brewed yourself, correct?
Yes. Well, from a kit, but...
Can you move the pasta somewhere else?
9. And 10. And 11. Oh. 12. We're 12 now. Let me just bring over the webcam here so you can see what I'm up to.
It's worse, Ian. It's better just to somehow be worse.
Yeah.
Like bad.
You know what? We're going to do that.
Turn light, yeah.
14. You know what? This is probably not good until we start soldering. 15. Ooh.
Hey, Ian.
Yes.
As soon as you're done counting, can I talk about garlic?
Oh, you can talk now.
Okay, I just didn't want to interrupt you. All right, so I have here possibly actually too many cloves of garlic. I'm gonna put one back because I don't want to kill anybody with garlickiness, even though I do love garlic. Man, I look really rough today because I did not get enough sleep, and
I mean, I'll eat it.
I'll eat it too, but
I think I will eat it.
all right. So, how's things smelling for you guys so far?
Mushroomy.
Mushroomy. Do you guys like mushrooms?
No.
Yes. I'm sorry, Corey. I forgot. I think somewhere I knew. Anyhow, let's talk about garlic. How do you mince garlic? First, you cut off the. First, you drop it. First, you cut off the ends. Then you smash it so it's all flat. It is not necessary that you remove the paper unless it comes off, because in the act of smashing the garlic, the papery shell will remove itself. So then we have this nice smashed garlic. So what you can do is you can cut it into little chunks, and then you can cut the chunks into smaller chunks. Now I said I wasn't going to talk to you about knife skills, but notice how I have my fingers folded away from the edge of the knife. That's kind of an important knife skill to have. You never want to just like be chopping. Don't do that. Don't do that. Fold your fingers in. It's a good habit to get into, and if you get too close, all you'll do is hit the back of your knuckles. But I'm sure people who can actually use a knife properly are like, what is these loose things? Oh my God, why? And it's like, it does not matter. I am bad with a knife. Oh, here. Let me see if I can do this left-handed so you can actually see what I'm doing here. I'm balancing the end of the knife, and I'm just hopping it up and down. This is a little inelegant because I'm not left-handed, but then you can see that I've got this nice puree, and this is basically, you can really get in there. The other thing you can do is if you want to really turn garlic into a fine mist, essentially,
Which I do.
you can, more salt. Salt is abrasive. So you can grate some salt over your garlic. And then you can sort of just start rubbing it into your cutting board, and that will help break down the garlic a little bit, because then you have basically, it's the equivalent of sand.
And salt's probably something you're going to be adding anyway.
Oh, this recipe is real salty because salt's delicious. And it's good for you in moderation. I don't eat you might think that, God, everything I eat is just butter and salt. It's like a modern day Juliet child. I absolutely not. Salt in moderation. Add salt to the things that need salt. Don't add salt to the things that don't need salt. There you go. So I actually think I'm kind of good to be talking about knife skills because, as you can see, I don't know how to use a knife properly. But, I'm not good at it. But look at that. That's 3 cloves of really... Can we get the overhead camera for a second? 3 cloves of beautifully, very finely minced garlic. And not every piece of minced garlic is exactly the same size. But you know what? I've released the volatile oils. It smells like garlic in here. It's tasty. Delicious. All right. So now we come to the weird part. Ian, typically...
One weird trick.
No. Typically, how do you cook pasta? You dump a bunch of water into a pan, you bring it to a boil, you add your pasta, then you drain your pasta, you set it aside in the sink while you add your sauce, right?
That's what I believe people do.
Wrong. I mean...
All right. Tell me, how do you do pasta, Kathleen?
Well, for this, we're not going to do it that way. But here's the important thing, is all of that delicious starchy water that your pasta cooks in, keep your pasta in the water while you're finishing up your sauce, and then reserve a little bit of the pasta water, because the starch will help coat the pasta and cause your sauce to stick to it. It's the starch will make everything silky and delicious. I need more water.
Ooh.
Heather, can you fill this up to the half liter point?
Wonderful assistance.
Yes. That's 2 cups of water there.
I have to continue to the site.
Heat. Oh, I don't... But anyhow, we are not going to be draining our water this time around. We are, in fact, going to be cooking our pasta directly into our water, and it will soak up all of the water. Thank you, Heather. So I've added 2 cups there. I'm using that because it's the only measuring cup I could find in the moon base because I didn't bring one. And then I'm going to add I'm going to eyeball how much pasta I should add because I've only ever done this as a much larger recipe in a much larger pan, and it calls for like 5.5 cups of water.
I'm actually realizing I should have pasted the guide that I'm using. Well, not really guide so much, but there it is in the chat. What I'm following in terms of how to solder this up. Oh boy. Okay. I'm about to start breaking out the heat.
I believe in you, Ian.
Thank you. This is scaring the shit out of me.
So, Ian, he watches our stream, so he might get angry, but if you somehow manage to brick your Dreamcast, my friend Matthew, many years ago, I think probably like 7 or 8 years ago, left his Dreamcast with me, and I think I've owned it now for longer than he has, or at least it's been in storage. So if your Dreamcast gets bricked, I'll talk to him and see if you can't borrow his. As long as you promise not to modify it in any way, so it's still a working Dreamcast.
That I couldn't make any promises about, but I do appreciate. One of the reasons we haven't played many Dreamcast games on stream in the past while is that I've been wanting to actually get this mod installed, so that when we end up doing the streams, we end up with a nicer experience for the viewer, because it'll mean less noise when the Dreamcast loads. Less of the
I've played many Dreamcast game in my past.
And much faster loading times, too.
Excellent. So it'll be a better experience.
Exactly.
You can finally play. Did you ever finish playing Shenmue?
I finished Shenmue 1, did not finish Shenmue 2. That's probably going to be happening on a home stream, I think.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about this pasta. As you noticed, I just added some garlic and some salt, and then some pasta and some cold water, which is sort of I would say the antithesis of what many people have been taught. But what we want to do is we haven't added nearly enough water for this pasta, or pasta, if you're from certain parts of the States. Boy, I look really rough today, but that's okay. I'm a little sleep deprived. But the important thing is that we want our pasta to soak up water. But we don't want to overdo how much water there is, because we want there to be just enough water left over at the end. So I've started with 2 cups and a small amount of pasta, and I'm actually going to add just like a few nodules more, because my inner chef sense is telling me that's probably fine.
Chef sense is tingling?
Like, that's literally how much I'm going to add. Just I'm like, yes, that seems slightly better. We're going to have, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start soaking up all of this water, and then I'm going to add cream, so I have a creamy sauce. But if it starts to look a little dry, I had Heather get me a little bit more water just in case, right? Because we don't want to burn it. And this thing cooks very fast.
Very creamy.
So I wanted to have always have your ingredients set out before you start. So you may have noticed I'm kind of just winging this recipe a little bit. This is the idea being here, that I'm not going to give you so much of a recipe as a technique.
Yeah.
And then you can follow yourself. I didn't bother cleaning out the pan after I sauteed those mushrooms, because that's just mushroom flavor I'm leaving behind. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cook this until the water evaporates, or starts to look really evaporated. Then we're going to add some cream. The cream will also cut down the garlicky flavor a little bit. And then we're going to finish it with the mushrooms and that manchego cheese and some fresh cracked pepper.
It's a sort of a poor man's deglazing.
I mean, sort of, I guess. The pan didn't really get any very much mushroom goo burnt onto it.
But you're at least keeping everything. The one pot nature of it's going to keep everything, all the flavor intact.
Yeah, correct. And so the nice thing about this is I'm kind of stirring it very idly, because I like stirring things. I find cooking very zen and relaxing. But you don't really need to. You could just stir occasionally.
Just let it ride.
Yeah.
This is very similar to a recipe I made, just in terms of using just enough water. That I made.
One-pot pasta recipes are all over the internet right now.
Well, this was one that was just featured on Serious Eats for a better version of macaroni and cheese.
Oh, with the condensed milk?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Beach made that the other day.
Well, I heard how Beach made that the other day. Just to say, he didn't make that recipe, but he did use it as an inspiration.
How did your recipe turn out, by the way, Ian?
Mine turned out fantastic. It was just... It was gooey.
It was salty AF.
Okay, so
I'm hearing some complaints from the tech department.
I made a mistake when I was making that recipe.
What was your mistake?
It was a very, very key mistake. So normally when you're making pasta with a large amount of water, the type that you drain,
yes.
you salt the water to sea level types, and then you drain the pasta.
Yeah.
This recipe suggested that you should put just enough water in to cover the macaroni.
Oh, but you just added the regular amount of salt that you were used to add.
Yes.
And then cheddar cheese, which the recipe also calls for, is quite a salty cheese.
Yes.
So if you're cooking with cheddar, actually manchego might be quite salty too.
Do you have any water left, by the way?
I have like 2 cups of water left.
Thank you. I'll need that for this soldering iron.
Oh, perfect. Manchego's a little salty too. Oh, this is gonna be really good actually.
I'm looking forward to it.
Cheddar is a quite salty cheese, so if you're cooking with cheddar, you can usually back the salt off a bit. Because it's always easy to add salt, but it's very difficult to take it away.
The nice thing is that the gooiness was as advertised, and because I've done enough cooking, I feel I'm very good at understanding what a flavor is supposed to be when the mistake is obvious.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be much better next time when I don't put that much salt in.
Right.
I mean, it was fine once I found the correct amount of ketchup.
Ketchup's also salty though.
Yep.
Fight fire with fire, right? Yeah, Corey's nodding yes.
Okay.
So if we go back to the overhead cam for a second here, we can see that my gemelli here is starting to sort of plump up a little bit, and it's starting to absorb the water. And the water is looking, it's hard to sort of move it out of the way, but you can see the water is looking quite starchy and opaque. That's good. The starch is going to make this sticky and creamy and rich.
Which is, again, the...
What you want from a hearty pasta dish.
It was the magic of that macaroni and cheese. In addition, of course, to the condensed milk.
So this is not necessarily a zero. I guess this is not a zero fucks given recipe. I have some almost zero fucks given recipes that are easy to do. But this is you can make a big batch of this and then keep it for yourself. And you can add all sorts of things to it. You can add chopped tomatoes, and they'll cook down and add make a creamy tomato sauce. I made that while Ben and Molly were here actually. And it wasn't quite as creamy as I'd hoped because I did not have enough cream on hand. I kind of used a light hand on it, and I should have just gone ham.
Speaking of light hands, stripping these wires is going to be quite a experiment. Oof. Go. So they need to be just big enough to touch the contact point, but oof.
That was me adding just a touch of water because I can feel that my pasta is still pretty hard. Now I'm going to start adding the cream. I have no ratios for you because this is one of those kind of do it till it's done. You can really, you can certainly screw up baking. Baking is, usually based on the chemical reactions of various things coming together. But it's hard to screw up something like this. Too much water? Tip your pan to the side and just dump out some of the water. Not enough water? Add more. I'm past the point of being able to add more pasta to soak it up, but that's okay. So the only thing I have trouble with nowadays is making really good al dente pasta, al dente, because Penelope cannot eat al dente pasta.
Oh, right.
So I am now used to making pasta a lot softer than it needs to be.
Oh, no.
So I might overcook this pasta a bit, and I apologize, just because I've been doing it to her tastes for a while, and I've sort of forgotten. And every pasta is different, and sometimes the bag will say 9 minutes, and they won't mean it, right? They'll actually mean 7.
Yeah.
Or 15.
Hard to tell sometimes.
So taste your pasta often.
Yep.
I recommend just fishing it right out of the pan.
Got to build up those calluses somehow.
I don't have calluses calloused fingers. I've just burned all the nerves off.
I mean, you could do that too. Yeah. There are very few strands of wire in some of these wires. In fact, in most of these wires.
This seems very involved, Ian.
Well, this is how things get done in this world. You were asking, is there another way to do this before the show?
Yeah.
And there is, but it's really paying someone else to do this kind of work for me.
Right, somebody who's better at it.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
has more experience. I shouldn't say better.
Somebody who's done it before, or has done it once, or is willing to spend money, or is willing to charge money for it.
So in case you missed that last step, I tasted my pasta, thought it's probably getting there. So now I want to start adding some of that table cream I bought, which will seriously cut through the garlickiness, right? That'll and will give us a nice creamy sauce. And I think a creamy sauce is better than a non-creamy sauce.
Oh yeah.
We'll just we're embracing the Julia Child school of cooking here.
She did good work.
Julia Child's great. Right after I had Penelope, they did the Twitch cooking marathon, and it's a good thing that I had Penelope, because otherwise I would have been making all sorts of insane recipes. She made it look so easy, like choux pastry for making cream puffs. So simple. So as we can see, if we go back to the overhead shot, we've got this wonderful milky sauce kind of bubbling away. It's definitely looking, as you can see, the fluid is evaporating, and it's definitely thick, and as you can see, it's taking a while to fill back in. That's all of the starch in the pasta has helped sort of bring all of that together. I'm actually going to turn down my heat a little bit because you don't want burned milk.
No.
But the starch and stuff will actually help everything from burning as long as you don't like overcook it, right? As long as you don't have it on like obviously way too high of heat. So Kathleen, if you're putting this very rich table cream directly into your pasta, is this recipe?
Could you reiterate how much percentage the table cream is?
This
People
is 18. This is
question.
18. Now the different creams are called by different names. I've made this before with half and half, and I wish it had been a little creamier, because the higher the fat content, the less cream you have to add. So I opted for table cream this time. I wouldn't use like clotted or anything like that for this. You do want it to be
Wow.
a liquid, but cream is good. But we're actually not adding very much. And this is I would not call a healthy dish, but also because it's very rich, your portion size is not going to have to be huge because, you know, it's going to be rich and it's going to be creamy, and a smaller portion will be more filling and satisfying.
Flavorful.
I really like, you know what? Why don't you make your main dish a smaller portion and make it delicious and full of butter and cream and salt and things that you like, and then have a salad or a big plate of vegetables to go with it. That's what I do. You can serve this with a simple salad. My favorite salad is a salad of ripe cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. Some good olive oil and some salt and some pepper and some good balsamic. And it's just enough to toss all of that together, and it's just a nice salad of tomatoes. Salad doesn't have to be this ridiculous thing with...
Just add some nice bocconini to that, and that's it. You've got yourself
You can
a
make a
healthy.
caprese.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if you'd want to add bocconcini to a salad that you're serving with this, considering there's already cream and cheese in it, but...
We'll leave that as an exercise to the viewer.
Yeah. You add as much cheese as you want. You do you, fam.
Okay, that's 40 wires stripped.
Good job, Ian.
Thank you. Now to keep the work area clean.
In case you missed it, I just sloshed a noodle out of the pan and then immediately put it into my mouth, so.
Good for you.
It's like Mad Max out here.
Oh, that's looking good.
I've added a couple more splashes of water because I don't think it needs any more cream at this point. And I've tasted it, and it tastes appropriately salty. Not too salty because I've got salty mushrooms and salty cheese to add, and it's very good. So, and that noodle was like pretty much almost al dente, and I don't want to overcook things. Although if it was at my house, I'd be adding a lot more water and probably going back for another 2 to 3 minutes just to make sure it was soft enough for Penelope to eat. And then she would take one bite and go, yuck.
Okay, I'm about to solder the first wire.
Good luck, Ian.
Thank you. This is going to be a bit of a harrowing experience. I'm going to get these nice and tight, the wires. Because I don't think we want too much extra space around them. Also, make sure you're using the right wire. Wow. Okay, make sure it's the right one.
Hey, Ian, I know you're deep into soldering land, but
Yep.
I've deemed my pasta done, so I want to go over the last few things with people.
Please go ahead.
All right, so our pasta is cooked. I tasted a couple noodles while we were on Ian. So I'm going to dump my mushrooms back in. This delicious brown sauce. Oh, I should have been chopping up my basil, but that's okay. Just toss that in there. If we can, oh yeah, we can see how creamy that turned out. And then we're going to add our manchego. And how much manchego should we add? Let's add lots.
Oh,
Let's just add all of it. I turned my pan off because I don't really need any more heat at this point. I've just got to melt everything together. Maybe I should have done both packages of mushrooms. This is a little lighter on the mushrooms than I thought it would be. That's okay. We notice now that the cheese is melting in, or at least I'm trying to... the cheese, if it had been grated Parmesan, would be melting in a lot better than this. But that's okay. The cheese is melting in. It's getting very thick and creamy. This is now super, super creamy. So we're going to make sure that we finish our dish off. And this is going to seem like it's a lot of butter, but it's actually only about probably a teaspoon and a half. It's a thin piece of butter. And we're going to melt that in there, because that will just keep everything liquidy, and we'll add and I keep saying silkiness, but, and this is going to sound like it's fake, mouthfeel is really important to food. Oh, Heather, can you get me a fork?
Yep.
Because we need to be able to taste this. Well, without doing it the way I do, which is just eat directly off your fingers.
And Graham says, "Much cheese, sad muffin." But also, someone earlier, Colario, called it the Gramchego.
Gramchego. Gramchego.
Gramchego.
Thank you. Perfect. I'm going to leave that for a second while I julienne some basil, which is nice and floppy now from being picked a couple hours ago and not being in water. Yes.
Whew. These joints are
Is this
real fine.
So I'm just doing a light julienne of some basil. You shouldn't leave any green streaks behind because then you're just leaving the volatile oils that give your herbs flavor. But if you want to make cutting them up a little easier, you can just do what I did and sort of roll them up into a big ball. Toss that over top. We get an overhead shot of my creation. It lives. All right, and then this bowl only had cheese in it. So let's oh my goodness, that looks very rich. Let's dish some of this out. As you can see, it's like I've made like an incredible mac and cheese, and we'll taste it. So this is not a small portion that fits in these bowls. And it doesn't make a small portion of a recipe, but you can go ham and make a big pot, and then you'll have leftovers. But this doesn't keep extraordinarily well, so just eat it.
So one day, immediately in the face pot.
So you'll note that I added salt to like every single item in here, but I never overdid it because you can always add more, and it's not too salty.
Impressive.
It does need more mushrooms. Ian.
Yeah, I would love to give this a try if you don't mind.
No, absolutely.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we can't show you what it tastes like. Like, other than me going, that's good.
Make sure I get all the pieces on there that I need.
All right. Would you like to discuss the injury straw poll? How does your vote go? Kathleen making pasta and Ian modding Dreamcast possible injury poll. What happens?
It's really good.
Everybody survives. Kathleen burns her hand and/or the pasta. Ian gets a small cut on his hand forever, giving the Dreamcast a taste for blood. Someone cuts their foot off. Ian, just all of him, or username who is using a hacksaw at home cuts off a finger.
I mean, probably username who's using a hacksaw at home. Heather, do you want to try?
Ian gives the Dreamcast a taste for blood. Seems pretty strong to me.
We're all using the same fork here because we're friends.
Yeah, we've all been... Wait, I want mushrooms.
So there you go. One pot pasta. One pot to clean up. And a couple bowls, I guess. Yeah.
I'm voting for blood.
Yeah.
Kathleen burns her hand or the pasta. Please, those people don't know me.
I think this was before they knew your hands were made of asbestos.
Oh man, it was really good. It's not overcooked. It's a little al dente. The noodles still have a little bit of chew to them. The mushrooms are rich and flavorful because they were cooked with white wine. Not necessary. The sauce is so creamy.
It's
The air is just full of basil.
It's just umami.
Yeah,
Right down to
Corey,
the core.
I know you don't like mushrooms, but do you want to try this?
Sure.
Here, we'll send the. Actually, you can come try it on camera.
Probably a mushroom.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
thank you for your sacrifice, Corey.
I don't know.
So, the nice thing about this recipe is it actually does not have a lot of strong flavors. You'd think it would be like mushrooms and cheese and stuff, but it's like there's a lot of water in it. And so
I
it
mean,
sort of
like,
blends everything together.
I would add ketchup.
You can add ketchup. It's your body. It's your mouth. You make your mouth happy. I'm not in charge of your mouth.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if you added like some like fresh tomatoes or like some dried tomatoes in there.
Sun-dried tomatoes would also
Yeah,
be good.
that would be good.
I've done it with fresh tomatoes at home. I just opted not to cut up stuff that might shoot juice everywhere working next to somebody who's soldering.
I appreciate the thoughts.
Well, the one time at home, I fried some cherry tomatoes in sriracha, and I think that would work too.
We can do anything you want. I think sun-dried tomatoes would be a very nice addition to this.
Excuse me.
But, I mean, that's it. It's just creamy and cheesy and good and easy and not a huge mess and very rich, so you don't need a lot. So that is it. That is how to make one-pot pasta. Now, the ratios, you want to have, I think probably, how big is this? This is about half a package. This is about 250 grams of pasta. So 250 grams of pasta to 2 cups of water is what I added initially, and then I added probably about a cup of the cream and then a few more splashes of water just to keep everything moving along. So start on the err on the side of making sure that you can add more water, because if you add too much water to this, the recipe will never quite come together and you'll just end up with because the pasta can only soak up so much liquid, right? And you'll just end up with sort of water that's swishing around. But if that's the case, you can just drain some off. Just get a ladle and just dump some out. Reserve it though, just in case it turns out you overdo it and you need to add more liquid back. Because you want to keep that flavorful cooking liquid because it's got the garlic in it, it's got the starch from the pasta, etc., etc. How's your soldering going?
It's harrowing, but I'm into 6 pins. I think, at this point, it might not be a bad time for us to take a quick break, because you're done your...
I'm done, and I can clean up.
Maybe I can just recharge my mind. I am 6 pins in. If the chat wants to have a quick look at where I'm at.
No, light.
Do not.
Oh, wait, the light's working now.
That's where we're at so far. It's harrowing.
Well, it's very exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yes, this is exciting work.
Yes. What happens
Okay.
if you screw up?
What happens if I screw up?
Yeah.
It depends how I screw up. Yeah, if I end up desoldering something or removing a trace, well then we're...
Either nothing will happen or the blue smoke will come out.
Yeah,
Those are the 2 options.
Oh no, that's the soul of the motherboard escaping.
that really is. This is pretty simple work. It's just very fiddly. So I think we're on track to be good.
All right, well,
Yeah. Regardless, we're going to continue on in a few minutes. Don't
I'm
go
gonna
away.
clean up my mess.
Yeah, we're going to go to some commercials, and we'll see you back with more Tinker Tailor Solder Fry. Don't go away. Welcome back to Tinker Tailor Solder Fry. We're eating some pasta and still continuing to work on this Dreamcast. This is a...
Well, while you're concentrating on soldering, allow me to entertain our viewers.
Please do. And actually, if you can relay any questions they might have, that would be fantastic too.
Well, Corey can do that.
That's a good point. She is in
because she
charge.
can read the chat. So some people mentioned, where are you going to put pepper on that? Yeah, to serve, and I forgot about it. I had the pepper out, so I was like, who wants pepper on their pasta? And a couple people took us. I'm not a huge fan of fresh pepper, but a lot of people like it, so I have it and can serve with it. If you're going to do a fresh cracked black pepper like that, that's more of a flavoring pepper, and so you want to put that on in the end to make sure that you taste it. You know when they come by the big pepper grinder in the Italian restaurant? It's that. What I'm actually quite pleased with is that there's a lot of garlic in here, but it doesn't you're not garlic, right? There's a subtle garlic flavor. Unfortunately, it's a little cold now. And as you can see, as the pasta sort of dries out, the sauce soaks in even more. So if you are reheating this the next day because you have leftovers, you can add a little bit of milk. You don't need to add cream, you can just add milk and sort of swish that around in there when you reheat it just to loosen up the sauce a bit. So Ian is continuing to solder. So this is to attach a hard drive to your Dreamcast, so you can load games instantaneously. And Ian has said that the failure points are numerous and varied, so it's all very exciting. Corey's taking the beer away. Oh no, Corey's moving the beer. Let's leave the beer right next to a laptop. You know, right after Graham got his new laptop, James spilled an enormous soda all over it.
James isn't here right now. Hi, James.
What makes you think he's watching us?
You never know when he's watching us.
Sometimes he pops in just at the right moment when you say his name.
Yeah. He's being summoned. And he's like, I heard them disparaging me. I am here. So, I don't know, Corey. Well, are there any questions for Ian? Or maybe, hey, are there any questions for me about cooking while Ian is working on this nerve-wracking, high-intensity solder job?
Are there any recipes you like that can be made in a toaster oven?
I feel like that might be a bit of a leading
Okay,
question.
you take a piece of bread, you put it inside, and you put cheese on it.
Apparently you can do a lot of things in a toaster oven, but I've never owned one.
No, just cheesy bread.
Just cheesy bread.
Just cheesy bread.
Well, and it's a good thing I don't own this single-use appliance then. My friend Jose is a very good cook, and he only has a toaster oven, so I'll ask him if he has any good toaster oven recipes. But I do have a lot of like simple recipes that you can do, like on sort of one stovetop and stuff like that. Come on. Apparently, you can bake in a toaster oven, just very little.
Yeah.
We have done so, in fact.
You can make the pizza crust.
Yep. That's a bacon. It's a very simple form of baking, but it's...
Any other
is.
questions, Corey?
What is a thing that you wish you could cook, but you have never managed to master?
Oh, something that I've tried to cook and I've failed. Consistently curries. Good, authentic Indian-style curries. They never turn out very well for me, so I just don't cook them anymore. If I want curry, I will go to an expert. Right?
Now, do you do your curries from scratch, or are you willing
from
to go
scratch.
Okay, so no jars for you.
No, because that's not like I can heat up a jar of butter chicken sauce from the store, and sometimes I do.
Now,
But
what
I've
about
never been able to make a good curry from scratch.
Now, what about a curry paste? Would you be willing to use that?
If I like bought a curry paste?
Yeah, like for an
No, not the-
Thai
not-
curry.
For a Thai curry?
Yeah.
I don't like Thai curry that much, so I've never
Okay, well,
really
that's-
tried to make it. Although apparently Serge makes a mean Thai curry.
He took some cooking lessons in Thailand, if I recall.
That's probably why he makes a good Thai curry then. I should have gotten a drink. Heather and Corey have drinks.
Like one, I can go grab you one.
Can you give me a Coke, please?
Oh, absolutely. It's my job.
I'll go, Heather.
Kathleen, do you make your own recipes? If so, what kind of thing do you make?
Make my own recipes. I make my own recipes all the time. It's called What Do I Have and How Can I Make It? But typically I'll start with like an endpoint. Like I know how to bake a certain thing because I've seen a recipe for it. And then I will adapt it to turn into my own thing.
Glass or
I'll just drink it out of the can. I have to do a lot of washing up anyhow, so this is one less thing to wash. I've made a lot of my own recipes over the years. Nothing like incredibly fancy, but just, I don't know. Like, this is going to sound really, I don't really know what a lot of my recipes are because I'm one of those people who tends to make something very randomly and then usually not recreate it just because I don't have that exact same combination of ingredients or I forgot what I did. I'm definitely an improvisational cook. But ooh, here's a good recipe actually. You can impress people with it as long as they eat pork, which not everybody does. But it's a recipe for pork chops. Take some nice pork chops, dredge them in flour that has salt and pepper added. Then get a pan with oil in it, nice and hot, and fry them so they're browned on the outside. They don't need to be cooked all the way through. Take your browned on the outside, but not necessarily cooked on the inside, pork chops, and put them into an oven at 350 degrees uncovered. This will allow them to continue to cook, but the outside will be delicious. Now, take your pan, which now has flour and pork fat and all sorts of good things in there, and deglaze it with a little bit of white wine, and then add a chopped onion and, depending on the size of the apples, 1 to 2 chopped apples. If you can get a really big apple, 1. If you get small apples, like is more common in the wintertime, you definitely want 2. Then saute the apples and the onion in that sort of deglazed white wine sauce. So you're picking up all the flavors and you're doing a lot of scraping of the pan, and add salt and pepper to taste. And then when that's all cooked down and your onions are soft, and you're going to be doing this over about medium heat, and your apples are cooked nicely. You okay, Ian?
I'm fine.
Everything's fine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you're gonna take your pork chop pan out of the oven. You're gonna dump the apples on top, the apple onion mixture on top, and you're gonna put it back in the oven. And you're gonna let it bake for a little bit more, just so everything's cooked together and you're sure your pork chops are cooked. And then you can serve them like that, and it's delicious. And they have this kind of appley, oniony. It's like an adaptation of like a chicken Normandy recipe, I think. And it's really good. But the chicken Normandy, they do a full gravy, and there's like a gravy and a flour thickening, and there's cream in that and stuff like that. This is way more straightforward. It's way more streamlined.
Okay, there's a question for Ian, but I think Kathleen could take this. Explain Japanese curry.
Japanese curry
You got this.
is different than Indian and Thai curry. It has a completely different flavor profile, and I'm not sure what spices go into it because I've only ever seen authentic Japanese curry come out of a Glico cube, which I believe is the most authentic way to make it. But you can get curry omelet, where you get an omelet with rice in it and then the curry on top, and that's very good.
You could also get house brand curry.
It's actually the big idea is it's a sweeter curry, more like an English curry than it is a traditionally English curry, rather.
Yeah, it's
Rather
definitely
than
based on a British curry.
Yeah, rather than a Indian or Thai curry.
Interesting.
Curry's good a lot of places. It's been a lot of things done to it.
Well,
Just why the term curry powder is just such a
English curry is now its own beast. Like
it's
tikka
very Indian.
masala is like an English dish now, not an Indian dish. They have sufficiently diverged.
Thank you, Empire. Okay. 10. Okay, with this wire, I'm about a quarter way through.
Of the soldering? Mm-hmm. I thought you had to do 20 wires.
Oh, I have to do something with 40 wires.
40 wires?
40 wires. Thereabouts.
Any other questions from chat?
Oh, yeah. What is your favorite herb spice seasoning?
My favorite herb spice seasoning. My favorite herb, or herb, depending on where you are in the world, is probably, it sort of depends. I want to say thyme. Thyme is so good in so many different things, but rosemary, even though it's very strong, is also very good in many different things. Mm-hmm. But we'll say thyme because it's a little bit more versatile. It's like rosemary will overpower chicken, whereas thyme is nice. Let's see. Spice. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is good in sweet and savory dishes. I make a delicious Moroccan cinnamon chicken, which is really good because it calls for like whole cinnamon sticks, and you do like a slow simmer of like a bunch of chicken drumsticks on the stove with like tomatoes and onions and carrots and spices, but like 3 whole cinnamon sticks, and it's just very fragrant and rich and delicious. And the last one's seasoning. Salt, like
Salt's it's strong.
it's
Wait,
like
salt or seasoning salt?
salt. It's just salt, plain sea salt. Like, hey, like, when I think seasoning, I think stuff like Old Bay, which is not something I want to add to my cooking most of the time.
Don't discount MSG.
I've never cooked with MSG. Oh, let me talk about my favorite secret cooking weapon, which is Worcestershire.
Worcestershire sauce?
Worcester sauce. Worcester sauce. Worcestershire. Lee and Perrins. It's great. It adds an amazing umami flavor. You need to make your beef stew taste richer and saltier.
Boom.
Hold
Add
on.
that.
Chat emergency. They're saying Neil C just dropped a new Mouth album.
What? That is an emergency.
Chat, tell me what it's called. Anyways, you can continue talking about Worcester sauce.
Yeah. You can add it to, I know, and don't judge me. I did say my spaghetti sauce was not, this is not my bolognese sauce, but my actual spaghetti sauce. When I want, like, I would call this Canadian style spaghetti, where you just take some pasta and you top it with a rich melange of ground beef and assorted vegetables. You add a little bit of Lee and Parents to that. Also, just makes it a little richer and more umami. It's really good. All sorts of things.
So this is a personal question. What goes in a chili?
What goes in a chili? Oh, I don't make very good chili by chili connoisseur standards. I'm led to believe by one M. Newman of
No,
Texas.
no. I'm not asking
hold
for
on.
outside influence here.
No, hold on. I'm going
Because
somewhere.
I know what kind of opinion an M. Newman would have about.
That a chili should start with like a good base of pico de gallo and like a pork shoulder, and then you might want to add something even like crazy like white chocolate at the end or like that, just to give it a richness. But I will tell you that I make bad Canadian chili, which is much more akin to goulash. So it starts with like onions and garlic, and then you add like ground beef and then beans and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people disagree that beans should be in chili, but I'm Canadian, so we don't do spicy food anyhow. So whatever.
Yeah, that's close to what we do for chili too.
That is how Canadian people eat chili. You go to anybody's house and they're like, "Oh, we're having chili," and it will be like a goulash of like ground beef and beans.
Yeah, it's like a meat stew almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
there's like little button mushrooms in there. That's good.
Oh, that is good. But you can do, or like little pearl onion sometimes. But you can also do a white chicken chili, which is good, but that's also something completely different.
Just get a mix of like kidney beans and like little pinto beans or something. Yeah.
I do like black beans in my chili.
I hate chickpeas or garbanzo beans.
So whoever puts those in their chili is a monster. Really?
If he remembers, yes, he will, because they're healthy.
So are other beans that go better in chili. I have strong opinions about beans in my fake not chili. So yeah, I would never, ever come on here and be like, this is how to make chili, because that's not how to make chili. It's how to make chili if you're from Canada, which is so far removed from actual chili that people would not recognize it. I mean, Tim Hortons has chili, and it's
They
very
do.
much like ground beef and beans and like a rich tomato sauce. It's definitely...
I eat that.
I love it. It's good.
I like that you get like a nice hunk of white bread to dunk in it.
Yeah, soak up all that tomato goo, that flavor, that unseasoned, not spicy whatsoever tomato goo. Canadian chili is very different.
You can eat it very quickly at whatever temperature you like.
Oh, absolutely. Any other questions?
Sorry, they're all talking about chili now.
Is anybody very angry at Canadian chili?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, well, I've never said it was authentic.
Then they're
We
talking
like
about
it.
like not chili shaming, and now they're talking about Cincinnati chili and Wendy's chili versus Tim Hortons chili.
Wendy's makes chili?
Yeah, have you never had that?
It's like Tim Hortons, but without the mushrooms.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I
just
don't.
it's runnier.
It's a little runnier.
I don't eat at Wendy's. Like,
Well, the Wendy's here is very inconvenient to get to.
yeah, and I typically don't eat fast food. Like, I really try to avoid fast food. The fastest food I will eat is Tim Hortons or Subway.
They'll give you chili instead of the fries if you ask.
Really? Oh, well, I probably still won't go to Wendy's, but it's good to know.
So there was a question. What is the most difficult thing you've ever cooked?
What is the most difficult thing I've ever cooked? Huh. Like difficulty in terms of you got to get it just right because it can go south so easily, or like sheer numbers of steps.
I'd go for steps or length of time.
Let's see.
Like length of time that you have to work, not just throwing a turkey in for a day.
Yeah, I mean that's difficult just because it's time consuming and irritating. Let's see. I think the most difficult thing I cook on a regular basis is probably risotto because that requires constant vigilance in order to be good. You cannot do two things and cook risotto unless the second thing you're doing is listening to a podcast, right? Like you have to constantly stir. The one pot pasta thing we did is sort of the risotto style of cooking where you're constantly stirring and keeping the liquid circulating and making sure it soaks in and then adding a bit so it doesn't dry out. Risotto is like that, but it takes like an hour to cook if you're making a really big pot. And it's really good, but you have to be careful. But I mean, but that's just more of a work thing. What was the most time-consuming thing I've ever cooked? I did like a stuffed beef Wellington once that was really time-consuming because it was like you got to do this. You got to make your stuffing, and then you got to prep your meat, and then you got to roll out your pastry, and then you put the stuffing into the meat, and then you got to wrap the pastry, and you got to bake it, and that's all very difficult to make sure. all the temperatures are right and stuff like that. I don't do very complicated things like that very often, though. Because I rarely get like 4 hours just to cook, which is too bad because I do love doing it. I try to keep my cooking on the shorter time scale because like I cook after I come home from work, right?
All right. We've got a question here. Do you have any feelings on pie?
I have strong feelings on pies, and I very much like pie. I am not a fan of making my own pie crust because I am lazy. So if I like pie crust is actually deceptively difficult to make because you can't overwork it, otherwise you don't end up with good pie crust. And so it requires things like cold butter and this and that and the ice cold water and all of these things, and it's just a lot of work. And unless I'm going to be cooking for an afternoon and I need to like really whip up a fabulous pie, I will just go and buy a tender flake pie crust, because typically what I'm making for, if I'm using a pie crust, what I'm doing is a quick after work quiche, and that's just good enough. Pull out pie crust, make up egg and vegetable mixture, top with cheese, put in oven, pull out half an hour later, serve for dinner. But making your own pie crust is really delicious and rewarding, but a huge pain in the ass. Ian's nodding.
There is a question here for Ian.
Hello.
What foods are you looking forward to down in Texas?
Oh, that's a good question. Barbecue is the main thing, which includes a number of different things.
But Ian, if you are excited about the barbecue, you're going to miss arguably one of the best things you can eat in Texas. I actually don't care much for barbecue. I find it generally too meaty and too sweet. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, here's a big hunk of meat and some bland sides, but the star. Seriously, in Texas, they'll just serve you some Wonder Bread, which is the worst, trashiest tier of bread, and I won't eat it. I have strong opinions about bread.
It's a napkin.
Yeah. They'll just serve you a couple slices of Wonder Bread with your barbecue, because the star is the brisket or something
that was
like that.
what I was going to mention.
But sometimes the sauce is too sweet for my taste. Mm-hmm. It has no depth of flavor profile. But what you should be excited for is the Tex-Mex, which is out of this world, Ian.
Right.
Oh. Ooh. Ian, 3 words for you. Enchiladas.
Oh.
Enchiladas! That's what you need to eat when you go
Yes.
down there. I had enchiladas for every meal and I never regretted it. Mole sauce, cream sauce, tomato sauce, all sauces, all enchiladas, all the time.
I think I just need a fam to fuck me up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going to need to happen. Mm-hmm. But not enough days, I think, is what's going to happen for me to eat.
There's some excellent Tex-Mex restaurants around there.
Really like planning a lot of my vacations around food.
Graham and I certainly tried to plan around food when we were in Japan. We made a detour to go to Katsumaizen.
The problem is that my food Japanese things just really include...
7-Eleven,
Yeah.
Lawson, Yoshinoya.
Wow, Yoshinoya?
Like let's
yeah.
start with the garbage food, which is still so good that cannot be replicated here.
Yeah, I only had one kind of meh bowl of katsudon while I was there, and that was like in Akihabara, and it was just a really busy restaurant.
Just the beef bowl flavor is something that's not easily replicatable in home because it is a fast food. In the same way that you can't get a McDonald's hamburger to taste.
Also, we go to McDonald's.
Yeah, because the sauces and the egg-topped hamburgers are something special as well. Mm-hmm. What I really miss more than anything else is the Odin from 7-Eleven that you get in wintertime. I
feel a bit bad when we were in Australia because it's very expensive to eat out in Australia because their minimum wage is a lot higher than ours, but they're dollars at par, so just the prices were really high, which is fine, but it just meant that we didn't get to do as much eating out as we would have liked. We did try some Australian cuisine. We had a schnitty, a chicken schnitzel. Okay, there they have schnitzels, but it's always chicken. It's hard to find pork. You can't get a beef schnitzel. It's like, ugh, so chewy. I don't want deep fried beef. Like, Corey is looking at me and be like, ugh. I'm sure a beef schnitty is fine, but the real thing is you have a parm.
A schnitty and a palm.
A schnitty topped with melted cheese and marinara sauce.
Hello.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, a parm is in a parmesan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They also do a weird thing, which is something that they only do in Australia, which is a dim sum, which we got fish and chips the first night we were actually going out to eat. And I was like, hey, fish and chips. And it came with a dim sum. And I'm like, What is a dim sum? Dim sum is a category of food, but it is a unique delicacy that only exists in Australia. It is a deep fried, like, dumpling, a dim sum dumpling, like a pork and
a
shrimp
singular
dumpling.
pork dumpling.
Yes.
Huh.
Well, our order came with 2.
I would
They were
happily,
weird.
I would happily have that as a side.
Yeah, no, it was good. I was just like, what is a dim sum? I pride myself on knowing about food. I have no idea what this is. But the meat pie were
The
out of
loading
this
ready run
world.
account is saying dim sim.
Dim sim? Were they dim sims?
They're called dim sims.
It was so weird.
Not actually dim sum, but an amazing simulation.
Yeah, it was not bad, but it was weird. But the meat pies were really good. I think the best meat pie I had there was the beef and cheese meat pie. They were so rich. Like, I could feel myself fattening as I ate them.
The unfattening.
Oh, and they have like cake squares there that are like a little bit of cake and then like this much of like custard.
Ooh.
They're really good.
The other thing I miss a lot from travel-wise, food-wise, aside from pavlova, which was fantastic in Australia.
I don't think we ate any pavlova when we were down there.
The time I went, I was too young to appreciate anything except for the extremely sweet foods. So,
Ah.
but Thai street food was just. It was an experience getting it, and the flavor was just incredible. So your pad thais, your straight up crickets, just sprayed down with a sprayer, deep fried crickets, sprayed down with a sprayer full of soy sauce, and then served you in a bag.
That sounds good. I'd try that.
It's really good.
I bet they're crunchy.
They sure are.
Any other questions from the chat? Australians, perhaps?
No, I'm thinking. Well, yeah, they're talking about
Defending.
pavlova, and I'm thinking about like little tiny cupcake-sized pavlovas that a friend's mom made one time. Because like I'm allergic to fruit, and it just had a single blackberry on it, which I'm willing to take for the team.
Right.
Just a little tiny pavlova.
Oh yeah.
I think this is the first soda I've had in a long time.
So, dear Chef Kathleen,
Ooh, Chef Kathleen.
Yeah.
I have no training.
what
I-
restaurant in the whole world would you most like to eat? Also, there was a question about whether or not you were trained or self-taught.
I'm absolutely self-taught. Before we talk about the restaurant question, anybody can be a good cook. I started cooking when I was 14 because my dad has a specialty. Actually, my dad has greatly improved. But my dad's singular specialty for cooking was foods that were beige.
Mm-hmm.
So foods that used cans of mushroom soup as a sauce.
I started cooking at 14 because I thought it would allow me to pick up girls later in life.
I mean, it's just a good skill to have.
Oh, it really is.
I'm going to teach Penelope how to cook, not because a woman's place is in the kitchen, just because I could cook when I was in university. Even though I had very little money, I ate much better and much more nutritional and healthy food than my peers.
Everybody's place is in the kitchen when they want a meal.
Yeah,
That's
everybody
just
needs.
straight up.
If Penelope didn't know if Penelope was going to be a girl or a boy, and if it had been a boy, that boy would also be learning how to cook with me. It's just a really good life skill to have. So even if you can't do it, you can eventually become a very good cook, and eventually you will transcend needing to check recipe books, and you will gain confidence, and you will be able to do like I do and just eyeball shit, and it will turn out. Because I've been cooking for many years.
Today I learned I don't have to leave the house to get poutine.
Is there poutine delivery?
There is.
There's arbitrary restaurant delivery
Oh,
with
like
not too much markup.
just cook or just
Basically
eat, go
like
cook?
Uber or whatever.
Yeah,
But it's
save,
not Uber.
Save the dishes.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh,
Or skip the dishes.
oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if I could eat at any kitchen, if any restaurant in the world, I don't know. I've heard the French Laundry is very good and hard to get into. I made a really good recipe out of the French Laundry cookbook one time, and I've forgotten what the recipe was, but it turned out great. But it involved broiling meat in the oven to finish it off in a cast iron skillet. And then I took the thing out of the oven, and my roommate Adam did not realize that I had been broiling this meat to finish it in the oven, and grabbed the handle of the cast iron skillet and gave himself second-degree burns. So
Oh,
we spent
no.
the rest of the night in the hospital. So that is what I remember from that, and is not the actual meal, which I'm sure would have been great had we not eaten it 3 hours after it was finished because we drove to the hospital immediately. So, little digression there. Adam's hand is fine, by the way. No scars.
Good. Oh boy.
Graham is negotiating in the chat. Ian, he will take you to Whataburger. And other people are texting or offering food.
Oh, Whataburger's good. How's your soldering going, Ian?
So, I'm using a technique. It's not really a technique so much as it is just a name for a bad join. Using a lot of cold joins because there's not much connector to connect to in these pins, but I just need to make sure that these wires are connected and
They don't need to be well connected. They just need to be connected.
Yes, and that's proving to be difficult all on its own. I'm worried that I've maybe approached this in a bad manner, but you know what? We're just going to keep forging ahead.
So do you have to do your wires in a particular order to particular pins, or can you just go wherever?
I mean, I've been going 1, 2, 3, 4, just in sequential order. And just looking now, well, it's becoming difficult to do it that way because if I can bring in the camera here, the next one I have to get is, let's see, do I need the light does help. So this one's going to have to go in here, in between these other two wires, which is going to be a bit of a bit to actually get all three things in there that need to be in there. The wire, the solder, and the soldering iron.
I believe in you, Ian.
I am too far along not to believe in myself at this point. So thank you.
I will keep entertaining the chat so you can concentrate on this.
I appreciate that greatly.
Otherwise, this would be a very quiet stream, I think.
Well, yeah, ever since I started putting things in my mouth.
Let's see, maybe I should have brought 2 things to do, because I mean, how long did it take me to put that dish together?
Less than an hour.
An hour, 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, like I drew it out too. Like realistically, what you're gonna do at home is you're gonna use 2 pans to saute the mushrooms at the same time as you're doing your pasta, right? You're not gonna, do things one at a time. You're gonna prep everything ahead of time. I said while I was cooking, the best way to make sure your cooking turns out is to read your recipe thoroughly and prep all of your ingredients at the beginning.
Chat's still talking about poutine, so I'm going to tell them that mine had chicken and peas in it. And the squeakiest cheese curds on the planet.
Where'd you order from?
La Belle Patate.
Oh, La Belle Patate delivers to this system.
No, yeah. Like, they don't. Like, the system does the order for you, and they have a driver pick it up, and you can watch them on GPS.
I always forget we have a La Belle Patate here because it's in a Esquimalt.
Because it's in a Esquimalt, yeah.
Where one fears to tread. No, there's no reason to go to a Esquimalt. It's like...
There's a Sam's Club out there.
What I was doing is I was looking at the website for Salt, the pierogi bar. And they are also in the system. So you can get delivery from Salt.
Ew, I have not actually been there yet.
Really?
No. I don't go out in the evenings anymore.
Well, now you don't have to.
I can just have pierogies brought to me. Here's a funny pierogi story. My sister... I'm literally trying to kill time so you can work.
Kathleen, the phrase, here's a funny pierogi story, I don't think has ever been said anywhere else.
It's a short pierogi story.
So, there's another phrase.
My sister, who is a wonderful person in many ways and super talented and really smart, but cooking is never something she's taken an interest in. Whereas I reacted to my dad's serving of endless streams of beige slop with a sudden and profound interest in the culinary arts, my sister went, yeah, okay, fine. Michelle definitely is really smart, but food is fuel to her, and it's not something that you really need to enjoy. Like, my sister will make a huge stir fry on Sunday and just eat it for the rest of the week. I'm like, I can't eat the same thing 5 days in a row. I would get sick of it, right? So anyhow, I went to visit with her for university because she lived in Vancouver. She went to UBC, and I was like, oh, why do you have a deep fryer? Because that's like kind of the thing you buy if you like to cook, right? Because it's not a
Yeah,
casual
normal
food
people
thing.
don't generally.
I don't own a deep fryer because I don't like fried food enough. I don't do a lot of fried food, right?
And I like fried food, but I'll just keep a shitty pot full of oil.
Yeah, exactly.
For when I want to deep fry.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is a deep fryer is a commitment to the frying lifestyle, and not something somebody who doesn't cook uses it for. But I'm sure chat has seen this coming like a wrecking ball. My sister used it to make pierogies.
Huh.
Oh wait. Frozen pierogies?
No, she wasn't.
Okay.
She's a bad cook. She's not stupid. No, she'd thaw them and then she'd throw them in the deep fryer.
And then what happened?
Then she would eat deep fried pierogies.
Okay, so they didn't like just explode on contact or be weird in
They
any
were-
way?
I
They
mean,
were
they-
fine.
They were deep fried, which was weird in and of itself. But why would you go to all the trouble of frying them with like bacon and onion when you could just throw them in the deep fryer and then you don't have to stir them?
My family
full of shit?
boiled them, so I
You
have...
boil them and then you fry them.
No,
What? Yes.
it was just the first step.
No!
No.
Oh, yuck. Oh,
So I grew up thinking pierogies were just
gross.
Waterlogged?
kind of watery, yeah.
Ah.
I mean, I like the potato-y filling, but
You fry them to get the nice crisp shell.
Exactly, but my sister worked out a faster, more efficient way of doing it. She would leave the pierogies to thaw on the counter. When they were completely thawed, she would throw them in the deep fryer.
I mean, then they're effectively like fresh pierogies, right? When they're thawed.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, except not good, because they're
Yeah.
like superstore pierogies because she was a student and poor. Like, anyhow, so that and my sister would also eat like ranch dressing on white rice.
what? I would put ranch on pork chops.
I hate ranch in all its forms. I might like it makes me gag a little bit.
Huh.
I just don't like it. I don't know why.
Are you more of a Thousand Islands then?
I'm more of a balsamic and olive oil kind of lady. I actually don't like salad dressing.
Chat was kind of surprised that we brought up pierogies at all. They're just like, I can't remember who, I think it was Lurker Spine, was saying that people in the States at least don't maybe know what pierogies are.
Oh yeah, pierogies are definitely very Canadian because of all the Ukrainian people that moved to the prairies.
yeah, they're generally considered more of a Polish food down there, I guess. Or at least home improvement led me to believe that.
Yeah, pierogies are pretty like. Pierogies
We are hella Ukrainian up in here.
Yeah, pierogies are very common in Canada because we have a lot of Ukrainians who live here.
I just
yeah.
found a wire that's not connected and not used. I'm so happy.
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Any other chat questions? I don't know why we started talking about. Oh yeah, we were talking about delivery food. Let's just shoot the shit about food. Let's just hang
Yeah.
out and talk food. Oh, I'm so tired. I did have a nap after we finished checkpoint.
Chat had asked that. They're
Yeah.
saying you looked a lot better now.
Yeah.
After checkpoint.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't tune into checkpoint, so I have no idea how much like death warmed over you appeared.
Well, I mean, like as you can see, I have kind of like bags under my eyes and sort of like maybe a little bit of makeup smeared under there because I had such a horrible sleep that I just ran out of fucks to give about what I look like today. Penelope woke up at 4, which is annoying but not uncommon. But then it took me 2 hours and 45 minutes to get her back to sleep.
I woke up at 4.
What happened?
I took some painkillers.
And then did you go back to sleep?
I tried.
Oh no.
It mostly worked. I did eventually regain consciousness at 8 a.m., so time did pass, and I wasn't aware of it.
Oh, okay. No, I was excruciatingly aware of every tick of the clock we have installed in Penelope's room because there is a vintage Thomas the Tank Engine clock in there.
Never have clocks that tick in your house.
I mean, honestly, it's fine.
It's
because-
hell.
No, but here's what happened. After 40 minutes of singing to her, after, like, okay, first I tried to get her
That's a
back to sleep.
concert set.
Except it's just one song.
Oh, God. Oh, so it's a fish concert.
Yeah.
Were you? Yeah. Was it the song you make up?
Yeah.
Was it definitely a Fish concert?
Yeah. So I tried to get her back to sleep, and it took like an hour and 10 minutes, and I get her down in the crib. And then she wakes up immediately. So Graham comes out, changes her diaper. I take her again because there's no point in both of us having a shitty sleep. And at this point, I am now 100% awake, right? Because it's been an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So then I try to rock her and jiggle her, and I sing her the song, the Sleepy Baby Penelope song, and then just about get her back to sleep. And she starts.
Can I just give you a children's songbook?
No. Penelope hates many songs.
I remember that, but I mean,
But
there
her-
are ones you can try. You could try.
No, this song, yeah. Well, actually, yeah, sure. Hit me up. Like the only one that she actually enjoys is the Wheels on the Bus, because it has hands actions. And she likes I'm a Little Teapot because I tip her when.
The weird one,
For me.
when you had me stay with Penelope for a few minutes while you needed to run in to get insurance,
Yeah.
12-bar blues really works on her.
Okay. Interesting.
Just noodle over that.
She hates Old MacDonald, and her hatred has expanded to include Twinkle Twinkle.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like she will cry.
So we're never going to be able to teach her the alphabet.
Oh, that's right. Well, no,
No, she likes the alphabet song.
What?
Song.
She likes the alphabet song, but hates Twinkle Twinkle.
Yes.
dislikes stars, I guess.
Future in astronomy not looking good.
Oh no.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. Any other chat questions?
20. 21, 22, 23.
G says he got the Thomas clock for his 3rd birthday.
Yeah, it's Graham's Thomas clock. All right, that's why it was important, because after a while I realized I would be there forever, and then I realized, no, I only have to be here till 7 a.m. And Graham came in at 10 after 5, so that means I only have an hour and 50 minutes more of this. So I started counting the clock ticks.
See, that's why you don't have a ticking clock.
1, 2, 3, 4. And then you get to 20, and it takes too long to say 21, 22 in your head, so you restart. So you do it in bouts of 20.
You know, you can say things faster in your head than you can speak them.
You can time it to the clock, though. Anyhow.
This is all very dangerous.
Look, you got to do something to keep yourself awake at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, and then stretching into 6 in the morning. And after a while, I was like, I hate all of everything. And she finally fell asleep at like 6, and I finally got her into bed at like by 6:45.
Have you ever done like a red eye tournament?
No.
I did one once. We were at a game store. It was for a fundraiser for some flooding.
Oh.
And I ended up staying awake for 50 hours.
Oh, no, I've never done that because I would hate it.
All to get a discount on a box of, I think it was some Innistrad, some stuff, I think.
I mean, we were also helping flood relief, which is nice.
Yeah. Barely. Like, it was just the entry fee to enter the contest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think there were like 20 to 30 people that started, and then by the second day, there were only like 4 of us.
Was it like an endurance contest?
Yep.
Oh, did you win?
Yes,
Yay!
technically. The staff didn't notice one of the other people falling asleep, but some of the customers woke him up.
Oh.
Yeah. And then another guy claimed that I had agreed to split with him
No.
while I was reading
I
the
remember
instructions
that.
for space truckers or something like that.
And did you say you were a liar?
Yeah.
Good sir.
Afterwards, but he had already left after taking his cut.
Oh!
Yeah.
What a scumbag.
It-
Did you hunt him down?
No.
I would have found that motherfucker. Do we have any questions from chat? Ian, you said, oh, thank God, previously.
I managed to slip a cold solder in between 2 other solder
Oh,
points.
the one that you were saying, I don't know how this is going to turn out.
I don't know how I'm going to get that in there. And then I did. And the getting was good.
I'm proud of you, Ian.
Chat would like to know what is currently being cooked.
We cooked some pasta with mushrooms and cream.
Ian's
And
brain.
a one-pot pasta. And then what is currently cooking is a Dreamcast mod.
Yeah, I haven't actually managed to inhale any solder fumes, so that's good.
Got my eye on you, Horner.
Always exhale. This is the right one, right?
So how far along are you, Ian?
I'm on 25 of 40 total pins. However, we're getting to a point where there's a number of ground pins, which are not connected. So we're coming along. What's our time like right now?
Almost 8.
Almost 8?
So
Okay.
we'll be able to finish this by 8 then.
Well, we'll have a... yeah, sure. We'll consider this a finished by 8. You might-
I can't stay forever because I have a baby.
you can go at 8.
I'm sorry.
You can leave at any time.
I appreciate you sticking around so as long as you have. So.
Because I have to wash these dishes before I go to.
Heather, if nothing else, Heather can probably come on camera and work as a co-pilot because you don't really need to be moving that camera around all that much. It's kind of that one position. 25 is the currently the pin we are soldering.
Good luck, Ian.
And the pin we are soldering is 25.
I'm very happy for you. You're doing really good work.
This is something I've wanted to do for a while. So, and also, boy.
Thank you,
Soldering.
Lord Hosk, for this soldering iron, because I don't think we could have done this without a good soldering
Oh
iron.
no, this soldering is mine. The soldering iron kit, though.
Oh.
This is doing.
You need tips and things,
Oh
accessories.
boy, oh boy. What fun.
So I'm thinking about making my own sourdough starter, which apparently you can just make by
Yep.
like adding some water and like flour and water and flour together, and the yeast will come.
If you'd like
But mush the bag.
No, we're not doing that fucking
Mush
friendship
the
bread.
bag.
None of that friendship bread.
Mush the bag.
There's no friendship involved in this bag. If you'd like some
Now, to be
rye...
fair, it does make delicious bread. It's really good, but then you just have to start throwing away the starter because your friends don't want in on this bread effort pyramid scheme.
Kathleen, if you'd like some rye flour, I still have some around from when I tried to bring a sourdough starter back from Alberta.
Do you need rye flour for a sourdough
It's apparently
starter?
really good for the sourdough starter.
Interesting, because I want to make white sourdough bread.
Oh, okay. Well then,
I don't
maybe
want,
not.
I don't want rye bread. Like, I like rye bread, but rye bread is not as useful as white bread, right?
Yeah.
Or even a whole wheat. Rye's a particular flavor profile.
I think I managed to avoid burning through the wire there. It's so. There's the solder point. Let me get
I don't even know what I'm looking at. Hold on.
It's very
right there.
tiny.
That's the solder point.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the wire that I kind of burned through partially.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully, it's not enough of a burn through that it'll cause
A fire?
a short.
An explosion.
Like a tiny explosion.
A tiny explosion of electrons.
Just a crossover, and it looks like it's not. So we're good there.
How did people come up with this kind of shit?
Well, people think about these things like they're tiny computers, right?
Yeah.
And when you build a console, it's best to try and maybe it's money savings, right? You want to use off-the-shelf parts, so you're going to use a off-the-shelf controller for your CD-ROM portion, which means that you might not necessarily use the same connector as the controller, but that means the pins are on there for that commodity controller. And so people end up actually just getting down with oscilloscopes and connecting things on and tracing out patterns to find out, okay, what is the logic behind these things? What is happening when the Dreamcast boots up? Where is it pulling this information from? And then they actually start to figure out, okay, oh yeah, these are the pins that correspond to that controller chip that we know is a controller chip because we read the top of it. I'm not, I won't say I'm not smart enough, but I have not spent the amount of time necessary to learn how to do that. But I can follow guides.
Well, thank God for guides.
Yeah. They make the world go on, which is why this is not a guide show. This is just a let's try show.
I feel like the thing I made was a pretty good guide to how you could make your own food.
Oh god, yeah, yours was simple enough, but simple enough that it worked.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to do anything complicated. Because, like,
No.
I'm soldering a Dreamcast. Great, let's spatchcock a chicken. What could possibly go wrong?
Kathleen, there was a question from the chat earlier.
Oh.
Other than Persona 5,
Yes.
what games are you looking forward to?
I want to play Night in the Woods a lot. Heather and I are very excited about that coming out. What else is coming out this year? There's a lot of stuff coming out this year. Lady Layton's supposed to come out this year, I think.
Yeah.
Heather and I have pretty similar taste in games, so what else is coming out this year?
7.
I mean, we're still pretty early in the year.
Yeah, they haven't announced a lot of stuff. I'm not a Zelda person, so I can care less about Breath of the Wild. Fight me. Let's see. I don't know. At some point, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming out, but I'm thinking of that just because they just announced it, not because it's coming out soon.
Oh, can I borrow that pen? Thank you.
Yes, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I think those are some games I'm actually excited for, and
There's a lot of new Fire Emblem.
there certainly is. I don't care about the Warriors games, and the next Fire Emblem game is 2018. The mobile game looks sweet though
And that's free.
to play. It'll be free. It'll be free
That
the
might
same
be
way that
free.
Pokemon Go is free, which is I've spent quite a bit of money on Pokemon Go.
There is a Fire Emblem game coming out for the 3DS in May.
Yeah, but that's like some sort of weird Fire Emblem side story game that apparently doesn't have has like an open map and stuff instead of like the destinations you go to.
Open dungeon.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know. I have to get more information about that. I watched the trailer for it today, but it was like, why did I be doing a Japanese talking? And I'm just like, and it was like, I am talking in a very grandiose Japanese voice over very slowly panning images. And it's like, this is telling me nothing about the game. But it was like, Fire Emblem! And it was very excitable, and I had no idea what was happening because it was in Japanese.
Good game.
So tired.
How about we take a break here and let's
Oh,
send
Jesus
Kathleen
Christ.
home, guys. We're gonna go to a quick commercial and we'll be back with more Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry. Well, I can talk better than that one this time. Welcome back to Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry, the Let's Try program here on the Loading Ready Live Video Entertainment Network. My name is Stephen Horner, and joining me right now is Heather Deary, who,
Sorry for this angle. That looks real weird.
yeah,
That seems like a bad idea.
kids don't smoke solder.
Don't,
If the
don't-
solder's
don't-
smoking, don't inhale.
Don't breathe in that. That's bad.
So, what is new with you, Heather? I know you had a request from a chat room to talk about a thing
I
you
believe
did.
It was Farley.
Yeah.
I made a couple of cat cozies.
Oh. Out of felt.
They're felt. I made these on my stream. I finished them this morning for Corey.
Oh, your stream over at where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/LunarJade.
Nice.
I do craft stream. I'm playing a video game tomorrow at 11.
What you playing?
Fantasy Life.
What job you gonna have?
I can't remember what job we started with when we played that game here. I'm continuing the
Carrot. I don't know.
save file. I think we were like, I know we started as a fisherman so we could get the cool fish hat. But I can't remember what we were left on. 'Cause they had to change jobs to make things happen.
Just before you said that, Earth and One said fish hat was the job.
Fish hat is a job. I was doing a lot of cat quests. Some of the cats give you quests.
It sounds like Final Fantasy 15.
You made that game sound way better than I've ever heard anyone say it, and I want to play Final Fantasy 15 now, but I don't want to own the things in order to play it. Corey told me about selfies,
Oh, yeah, the selfie man.
and
Last night I rode Chocobo into the small plate at night and caught some red frogs.
yeah, no,
And
that
everyone
game
was
sounds
complaining
awesome.
about the rain. Yeah, I played a video game for fun yesterday. So what?
I'm amazed and really jealous, actually, because I haven't had any time for video games outside of work. I really haven't. It makes me sad.
Hodor, here's my advice. Never get 3 jobs that involve playing video games.
3? What's the
Yes.
third one?
You or me?
I don't know. How many jobs do you have?
3.
That involve playing video games.
I didn't know you had a third job.
Well,
It's non-connected. Okay, I'm going to count backwards from 40. 9, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40.
If you're counting backwards
59.
from 40, how did you start above 40?
Good point. 39, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28. 28 is one that needs connecting. Is it? No. 28 is not used. Brr, 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 brr.
Yay! One less wire.
Yeah, 28. 29 is a used wire.
I mean, if I'd known this was going to happen, I would have brought something. Anything.
20.
you could play the Gordon Ramsay Diner Dash. You
I'm
could
not
play the
interested in Diner Dash
Pogs.
anymore. I really liked Diner Dash, but I don't really want to play a branded Diner Dash.
Oh,
Sorry. I just
Wait, what other game did I
actually just
have?
kind of lost interest in Diner Dash after the Game Boy version. The DS version? It was
Oh,
a DS version.
Heather, if you want to keep your eye on chat, by the way, there are a couple of iPads behind us.
Ooh.
yeah.
I
Ask
can
yourself
watch
your
the
own
chat.
questions.
I do ask myself questions every day, and generally I don't have good answers for myself.
Some of chat didn't know that I work on video games.
Ah, chat's already open. Nice.
Thanks again for stopping by, Kathleen. Have a good night. Okay.
I can't even bullet journal. I'm all caught up on my bullet journal right now.
But you could work on designs or color schemes or new spreads. Like, are you tracking music to listen to?
No, because I don't do that.
Podcasts. Have you organized your podcasts by time that they take?
I was looking at Molly's spreadsheet for that, and I don't know if I really want to do that. I feel like that's putting too much work into my podcast.
Dear Dr. Slur, have you ever thought of building Gundam model kits?
Yes, we have. And we have a model kit ready to build here. God, I might do that next time just because of how less stressful it is.
Would you do it from the, like I know Cam's done some figure painting and whatnot, but would you do it from the point of having to cut the pieces out?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like
Because I kind of missed the fact that he didn't.
most Gunpla doesn't need to be painted. It can be painted, and, and some would say should be painted just for the quality of the work. But no, I probably wouldn't paint it, but I would do it from the point of snipping it out of the.
Oh, okay, because like I
Makes sense.
know he had something he could have done the snipping out of for some of those figures, and I would kind of wish he had. I understand why he didn't. Like getting the base paint on there and everything was great, but I for some reason that's the kind of thing I want to see from the very beginning. But that's just me. I'm sure there are other people as well. I like very laid back calm crafting with highly detailed work, which is essentially what you're doing.
That's a non-connected wire. I keep forgetting that. Just twist these together. Good. Now I
Have
won't
we ever
forget.
considered building an actual Gundam?
Every day of my life before I
don't-
started university.
I don't particularly like large scale projects. I prefer tinier things that fit in my hands.
So, Haro?
I don't want a Haro. I want a tiny Chobits robot friend like Sumomo who sits on my shoulder and rides in my pocket, and I can give a pencil to print out things with. That is the kind of robot I would want.
30. Did I get 30 in the right place? Oh, shit. 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30. Phew! 31, 32.
Have
30.
you considered making a Tachikoma?
32. Making a Tachikoma, how would you do that even? 32 is not connected. Okay, let's make sure that's correct.
Kettlefishman, Chobits is only creepy AF if you think about things that go on in that series too hard.
Or at all.
Just don't think about it.
Sumomo, just think about Sumomo.
Tiny, tiny, cute robot. This big. It's very
Yeah.
good. I mean, sure, Angelic Layer is better. I'll give you that. But I don't want a fighty robot. I want a tiny robot friend that moves on its own without headgear inside a layer.
I would not have referenced questionable content because I have no way to do that. Chat asked if I was referencing.
Okay, 33 is this one.
I forgot to tweet about a new Ghostwatch episode, so I'm composing the tweet now. I don't know what to say.
Corey, one job at a time.
Which episode was that?
23. Grateful Soul.
Oh. Oh.
Which I've called the episode Jacket Attack because clearly, but
Oh, no,
my,
Jacket Attack
my
was the
fallback title was bursting the car,
Oh, yeah. Oh, why?
or Let the Body Hit the Floor.
Why don't you just start with Let the Body Hit the Floor, new Ghostwatch?
Good plan.
Yeah, that is a good tweet. That'll work.
Oh, this is stressful.
For those of you unaware, Ghostwatch 2016 is a podcast Corey, me, and Kate do for watching Kamen Rider Ghost, a Sentai series. You can find it at ghostwatch2016.xyz.
This episode is /23, which I do not recommend listening to begin with because we give things nicknames, and if you're not with us for the whole thing, if you're not there at the beginning, you won't know.
You don't need to watch the show to enjoy the podcast, but you might want to start the podcast from the beginning to enjoy the podcast. It is 2017. The name of our show is Ghostwatch 2016. I don't see the confusion in this.
Well, it's because it's the Kamen Rider for 2016. That's why I called it that.
I like to think we gave something really good to 2016, and it needed the boost. It still needs that boost.
Needs that boost, so we're still working on
Still
it.
working on it.
For like 20 more episodes.
Oh, is that how many we have?
There's 50. There's 50 episodes.
50?
So we've got a few more before stuff gets a little complicated and we have to watch a movie,
little
maybe?
complicated?
We have to watch a movie, I think.
Do you not
And then there's like supplemental stuff like the what is it? Heroic Soul of Elaine or something like that. There's like a 2-episode mini or like little mini series that's just Pretty Boy.
Corey,
And then
what do
there's
you mean
stuff about other Heroic
complicated?
Souls.
Like, seriously, the
There's
show's already
supplemental
done.
material.
I don't know if
I'm only saying we're gonna watch at least one of the movies.
I do want to watch one of the movies. They keep showing them in the beginning credits. I assume we have to watch one of those.
Yeah, I think we want to watch. What is it called? Kamen Rider Ichigo. I think that's the name of the movie.
Okay.
Velvet Falcon. We don't have any plans for Xaid, but I definitely want to see it
I want to watch that one. It sounds amazing, but I don't want to watch it
at the same time as Kamen Rider Ghost, because then I'll just want to watch it instead of Ghost, and then
Yeah.
we'll never finish the podcast.
Exactly.
Okay, that's one more down. It's 33 down. $34 is not connected. So that means 35 is the next one. 35 goes where? 5 goes up top like that. Oh, we're getting so close, guys.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
You gonna be able to do all 40 tonight?
Oh, definitely.
Cool.
Mr. Flip says that he wants to hear Kate's reaction to all the nostalgia bait in Ichigo, but I kind of don't, because there was that Sentai crossover episode after 23 that we watched, and
Yeah.
trying to explain Sentai, Super Sentai, the current Beast
Yeah.
stuff to Kate while it was happening in front of her was hard.
Well, yeah.
I can't just be like, okay, Kamen Rider's this very old thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope there's not too much, like, that episode was terrible because there was so much stuff in it we didn't know. So I'm kind of hoping that if they do that in the movie, it's more like references, but not heavy.
It's gonna be heavy.
Yeah.
They are not subtle.
Oh, I know. I've seen some Super Sentai. I know about crossovers and things. I just haven't seen enough to get the crossovers in this series. I mostly just watched a lot of Deca Ranger, which is amazing.
Deca Ranger is special.
It has Anubis in it. The dog man boss who
It has a
transforms.
Doggy Kruger.
Dougie Kruger, right. But they really mess it up in the translation in the English version, because they animate him instead of using the obviously mascot dog head with the mascot hands, the mascot feet. He has a katana, and he can stop
sure
a bullet
does.
with it and ricochet it off of his sword to let that bullet cut the ropes of a lady who's tied up and kidnapped in a truck that's going to explode.
I mean, it's really no different from explaining any other Sentai series. Like, if I tried to explain Gaim or whatever, just be like,
I
oh
need to
yeah,
watch more of that one.
there's these dance battles, but also they have these locks that come from these fruit trees in an alternate dimension that summon these things, and the driver belt turns him into a giant pineapple, and he has a mace.
Dougie Kruger puts sunglasses on, Corey.
Dance battle.
Sunglasses.
40.
Also,
39.
a narrator comes in every single time to tell you
Sure.
what one of the Rangers is about to do, which generally involves the green one standing on his head to think better because he can think real well when he stands on his head. And the narrator will remind you of that every single time. Good series.
So, Hodor,
Hi.
what's the most difficult thing you've cooked?
I stay away from that department.
What are your favorite spice, herb, seasoning?
I like salts.
For all three?
Sure.
How do you feel about pie?
Generally positive. I have made a homemade crust before. I can attest those are not easy. I only did it the one time, and then I decided I wouldn't bother anymore. I like hand pies over regular pies.
What kind of hand pie?
Cherry.
37.
Yeah.
That's almost 2 years.
38.
Thoughts on pecan pie?
I'm not big on pecans.
You can die in a fire.
You could
Wow.
just eat more of the pie that I'm not going to eat.
No. It.
Oh,
The pecan
sorry,
pie.
I thought you were telling me I could die in a fire.
No,
and I thought that was
no.
rather aggressive of you.
No.
I mean, I like pecan pie, but I would not like you to die in a fire.
Yeah, no,
Please don't die in a fire.
I only speak violently or use gendered insults towards inanimate objects.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I was gonna say, that's unlike you. I mean, you might tell me to go to the ocean.
Like, maybe
but you'd never
beach.
tell me. Well, I mean, beach is special.
No, I don't think I've ever told Beach to die in a fire.
No, I don't think you've ever done that. I don't think
No.
you've ever told an actual person that.
No. I have told, like, a couch cushion that.
I mean,
Or a blanket that gets too tangly.
yeah, those obviously deserve it. Their screams are silent anyway.
Oh my god.
Butter tarts are better than pecan pie. Butter tarts are like tiny pies, though.
Raisins or no raisins?
We'll take raisins better without.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Got a question about other foods that I could see violently murdered. Gooseberries?
What?
I always forget I'm allergic to them, and I always try one, and I always have a bad
Oh.
reaction.
Those
Oh,
are
yeah.
those yellows. No, I don't like those.
Yeah, you go get one of those. It's like they're basically decorative, but you can eat them technically.
I don't like them. They show up on the plate, and I'm just like, cool. Someone else will eat that eventually.
What's that other really gross pie?
Well,
Just the other one.
That's like what, sweetmeat or
Oh,
Mincemeat.
Mincemeat-
I don't
mincemeat
really.
pie? Also gross. Can die in a fire.
The only non-dessert pie I eat is like either chicken pot pie or like shepherd's pie.
And those are both like excellent.
Yes.
They are top of the food pyramid. They are kings among food. Chocolate chip cookies that have raisins in them because you can't tell. Those are bad.
That's a line of a Double Click song.
Really?
Yeah. It's disappointment, like finding raisins in a cookie.
Yeah. Have I tried shoe fly pie? Not for a very long time. I think I had one when I was a kid.
What's shoe fly pie?
I'll look it up for you.
Okay. Hawaiian pizza is, yeah, that's okay.
It's my favorite.
It's generally acceptable pizza.
Yeah, it's a molasses pie.
Oh,
I was
okay.
trying to remember if there was any extra bits to them, but yeah, no, it's okay. It's not necessarily that I don't, because like I like butter tarts a lot, right? And they're kind of a, kind of a sugar molasses-y heavy thing.
I want to point out, I didn't say I don't like mincemeat pie. I don't think I've actually had a mincemeat pie.
But you would know it if you had.
I would hope
Your body
so.
would reject it.
What? Why?
Not good.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to alarm anyone.
What did you miss?
No, I didn't miss anything. I think I just need to connect to the ground, and then we're done.
Why would that alarm us?
Because this is how disasters happen?
Yeah.
It's always at the last step.
Just gonna snip all these off.
I'm going
I'm
to
not a big
request-
fan of fruit chunks in my tea.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not tea. Ian,
That's
I'm
sangria.
gonna request that maybe when you're about to finish, maybe you shouldn't start sentences with "I don't want to alarm anyone." That's not a great lead. It makes people primed to panic.
How is the best way to connect all these to ground?
With the solder?
Well, yes.
T.S. Todden says that meat should be savory, not sweet, but is holding up Hawaiian pizza as an example, and ham should be hella sweet.
Ham's a sweet meat.
It's just like naturally sweet.
Yeah.
It's not a sweet meat. Sweet meats are
Don't actually know what a sweet meat is.
They're a
the
specific
innards.
thing.
Okay.
They are organ meats.
Oh. Those sound gross.
And they're fine. It's just
They're probably fine.
because with ham you want as close to the skin as possible.
Get that fat.
Let's see, Big Turk. That's a type of chocolate bar that
I've
can die
had
in a
that.
fire. It's deceptive because there's chocolate on it.
Are you saying it's deceptive because the name doesn't give away that it's supposed to be Turkish
Not when
delight?
you're young enough that you can't read.
Man, when
Okay.
I first had a big Turk,
It's
I was
like soap that looks like chocolate. Okay, it's exactly the same
No.
except they sell it in stores as a food.
It's not a terrible chocolate bar. It's just not the chocolate bar you should reach for first.
Or
And
ever.
it's also not the chocolate bar you should reach for if you actually want Turkish delight.
Yeah, it's true. It's not actually Turkish delight, but it is delicious. I think.
It's just generally it's not the mouthfeel I'm looking for when I want a chocolate bar.
You want like a firm nougat.
I don't
maybe,
really
or
want
peanuts
like
or
that
something.
kind like
You don't want squish.
I don't want like an Eat More bar, right? That's too
I
chewy.
like eat more bars, but that's me.
When-
I know
when-
I'm an
when
exception in
when
that
I'm looking
case.
for a chocolate bar, I don't want to grab an Eat More bar.
No, you want like an O. Henry or whatever crap.
No, I want a caramel that I've snapped into its tiny
Into
pieces.
the little pieces?
And I've put in the freezer for a while so it gets a little cold and it's perfect.
Have you ever done that with an Arrow bar?
No, but now I want to.
Yeah, when you get them cold, the bubbles are like super nice.
Ooh. That's going to be good in the summer.
Okay. Now I just need to run this.
Have you had the different flavored Aero bars?
I've had mint and I've had darker chocolate. I like the darker chocolate.
Because sometimes the Japanese grocery has like the green tea ones and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm always suspicious when there's like a green packaged Aero bar. Like I never reach for it because it's usually mint and never green tea when I want it to be. Not like Kit Kats at all.
Yeah, Kit Kats are the best. Japanese Kit Kats are the best. Our Kit Kats are meh.
The Kit Kats that Beej brought us were not good.
Which ones?
Like the various cook them in the oven ones.
Oh no,
Oh.
those are not Beeges. Those were given to us by a fan.
Yeah.
No, some of them were ours as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
We found a couple of them at the store and we tried them
Like the
without
cheesecake one.
without
Yeah.
cooking them, and I was like, I don't like these, and then it was like, well, it's supposed to be in the oven, so we should try them again. I prefer the ones you don't.
Yeah, I
have to
think
put in the oven.
the sake one was from a fan, and that was an
Yeah.
interesting.
I've had that one before.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it. It's just a weird flavor I wasn't expecting.
How's it going, Ian?
It's going good. I'm trying to figure out how best to connect these cables that need to connect to ground and also how to get this traced to the outside world.
What other things do I hate? Specific dried fruits I dislike. Like,
Can you have dried fruit? Are you you're allergic to a lot of fruit, aren't you?
I am allergic. The reaction's different. And mostly
So-
just indigestion instead of burning pain.
Like pineapple,
I'm not allergic to pineapple.
so dried pineapple.
I like dried pineapple.
Okay.
I like fresh pineapple.
I prefer dried pineapple or fresh.
Do you salt your pineapple?
I don't like pineapple. I don't like watermelon.
Do you salt your watermelon?
I tried salting watermelon because I salt cantaloupe, which I like.
I've never salted a cantaloupe.
I've never salted cantaloupe.
Oh, I grew up salting cantaloupe
Huh.
That's a very interesting
on
upbringing.
the prairies. What? I lived on the prairies.
I
So-
grew up
We're from the same town, Hodor.
salting cantaloupe on the prairies. Is a song I wrote on my guitar. On the prairies, you don't get many cantaloupes, so you gotta salt them.
Ian's from slightly south of us. That's it. We're all from the same province.
This is why I'm so good at composing country music on the fly.
No.
No.
No, living in Alberta has nothing to do with country music.
Think I'll go up to
we
Alberta,
were too far north for that.
where there's good
And too far
bear
south.
in the fall.
In that sweet zone between Fort Mac and Calgary.
And the good times have all gone. And I'm bound for moving on.
Like you basically see truck nuts, but not cowboy hats.
Yeah. Truck nuts need to go away. They're just dumb.
Although I did like the idea of attaching them to a drone and then like hitting people on the head with them.
I
Just
prefer knife
for
drone for
entertainment.
that, but yeah, same thing.
Knife drone?
What? Knife drone.
Knife drone was pretty good.
Don't you watch live? Come on, Ian. Don't you watch her things?
Yeah, Ian.
Nope. I,
Ian is clearly a terrible fan.
okay, how do I... So fitting this in here is difficult because it's
Wasn't it made to fit?
well, it was made to fit when it was originally made, not how
Oh,
Ian's changed things.
I've changed myself.
it still
Go.
looks like it fits.
Boatnia.
No, you'd never change.
Change
At least
yourself.
not all at once. I don't think we could take that. I prefer slow incremental changes that I don't really notice. Just like the rest of the world.
Like the hair. Okay, I think what I need to do is remove some of this metal from the bottom here.
Question: does Canada even have a south?
It's called,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you could like. I think Southern Alberta sounds a lot like Vermont,
Or
like
just remove all the
accent
metal.
wise.
Maybe? I don't know.
You've never heard that?
Nope. Well, I don't pay attention to accents unless
Like
it's like Hokkaido. I watch a lot of Japanese anime.
Get that Kansai going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Osakan.
Yeah.
I sometimes notice before the subtitles start to change into the weird accenty subtitles
Of the south.
when the character's voice changes because they've been trying to hide their accent for some reason.
It's because it doesn't sound intelligent, and you can only speak like Tokyo people.
Tokyoites?
Yes.
Is that what it calls them?
No.
I don't know. I never claimed to be an expert about Japanese culture.
Hodor, you're a professional. Professional.
I am a professional. I'm just not necessarily professional in what you think I am.
I mean, because what you've told me is that you're a dinosaur and a bear. And a
I'm sorry,
doctor.
I
have
I
a
don't mean-
doctorate.
I don't mean to correct you, but it's a dino and a bear, not a dinosaur. There's a difference. About 4 letters difference. I'm gonna read the chat.
No, Dino Bear doesn't say rar.
No,
Dino
no,
Bear
they
says
say
gow
gow,
gow.
1 gow for dino and 1 gow for bear.
Yep.
That's why it's a dino bear.
Dear Dr. Hodor, what's your doctorate in?
I've got 1 in dino and I've got 1 in bear.
You
Yeah,
have a
double
third.
doctorate.
You have a third.
I
You
thought
have
you
one in spin.
thought you told me I wasn't allowed to have a 3rd one.
You were allowed to have the third one as long as it's in spin.
Oh, I see.
Has Hodor ever been in a crap shot?
I think I've been in the background of a couple.
Weren't you in that one with the hat?
Yeah, the hat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't found my hat in a while, and I don't know where it went, and I'm actually a little concerned about that. I think I was also in the one where we were all concerned about James doing the thing. We had an intervention for him for some reason. It was a long time ago.
Have you played Stardew Valley?
No.
Will you play Starview Valley?
Didn't intend on it.
Do you just want my itch.io account and all my games? Because I can't gift the large game bundles anymore. But I can just give you my account.
I I don't know what's on it, Chio. I've never looked. I've only
It'll be
gone there.
fine. It'll be
I
fine.
don't know.
Just go all in.
No.
It's just like a couple hundred games with your name on it. They're all called hoarder games.
In Egypt Crazy, yes, I did take my hat off and I tried to make that one on TTSF, which I still need to finish up and clean up the pattern of and find now because we moved since then and I'm not sure where everything went. But I've had my hat since then. It went missing, it went missing sometime after Desert Bus. Like I had it after Desert Bus, but like a couple weeks after that. Because I was like, I won't wear it because I made my hair blue, and I want people to see my hair. But now I don't know where it went. Maybe it got mad that I wasn't wearing it. I'll set some traps around the house. I'm sorry, Ian.
Yeah, don't make him laugh. He's very busy. Very busy man. He's doing his precision work. Actually got a okay view on that. A view of what Ian's doing.
Do Australian games qualify for matters of import? Because I assume not, but ...
No, totally. They won't do it.
It's an import game at that
Yeah.
point.
Do American games count?
No, not unless there's a special case.
I mean, anything that comes out in America is generally out in Canada as well. So I would think they would count less. I'm not on that show, so I don't make those rules.
You're on no show occasionally.
I was there for Sailor Moon.
Occasionally.
It was important. Sailor Moon's important.
Are there any awesome rhythm games that you don't want to stream? Because they're too good to stream.
Oh.
Shit.
I don't know. Maybe Hatsune Miku Future Tone is probably too good for us. I don't think we can stream that one ever.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, see,
Too
Ian agreed.
awesome.
It's too awesome for the likes of us to be streaming.
Why can't I seem to...
Outlaw Bob, I don't remember what the solder count is, but it was like almost done. I think
Yeah,
it's on the last one.
the last thing I need to do is solder the ground. I'm having real trouble with that, getting it to connect.
So, Ian, what's the solder's lickability rating?
0. Okay.
I have heard they're bringing back Sailor Moon R the movie.
And it is getting
it's
a...
like a remaster or something. It's not Crystal though. It's
No, it's
the original.
straight up original, and it is getting a Canadian release. The American release, I think, is either already finished being out, or is... you can find it online to find out, but it was an American-specific release. Damn it!
It come off?
Yeah, it did. I need a tiny wire, which I don't think I have. Oh, wait, I do. I have all these non-connected
the
wires.
Wires you don't have to do anything with.
That'll work, hopefully. So at this stage, if I've fucked it up in any way, it's done. Well, that won't help. Oh, where's my... There it is.
Have you seen all of Sailor Moon, Ian?
Like
the original?
You know what? I think I've missed some stuff, and if I have, it's in the middle, weirdly.
Huh, okay. Because I know Beach hasn't seen past, like, season 4 for some reason.
Wow.
I don't know why. Stars is the best season.
Oh yeah, Stars is straight up
Like-
great.
You can't get any better than Stars. At least not with the original.
Well, I don't know. S is pretty amazing.
S is pretty good, but it doesn't really end until you're partway through Stars.
No, but Stars wasn't completely done by Ikuhara. And I am
fair.
a huge Ikuhara nut.
I need to watch the rest of Utena.
Yes.
Well, I'm only like 3 episodes in.
I saw the Black Rose Saga, which I think is season 2,
Huh.
Yep.
because I bought a box set of it, and I was like, "Oh, this will be fine," and I was real confused.
So G Dwarf asked me specifically because everyone else is bringing me questions if I've played Gravity Rush 2, and I have not. And I remember playing Gravity Rush 1 on my Vita and getting very bored. So I'm unlikely to play it. Even though I like the idea of the mechanics, I just find a lot of the mission stuff irritating.
Yeah, I'm talking revolutionary girl Utena. There's only one. She was revolutionary.
And a girl,
Yeah,
we'll say.
probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see all of it. What do I know?
Okay. That's a connection. It's not pretty.
But I mean, after watching, like, Penguin Drum and every other thing,
Kuniki Ikuhara has done.
yeah. Except for, like, Sailor Stars or whatever. Sailor Moon S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did some of R and, or I actually think he did some of the original, and then also just all of S.
And I've seen the Utena movie.
I've heard about
Which is
it.
its own thing.
I think I've seen some clips because I used to watch a lot of AMVs, so I've probably seen clips from it.
Is there a lady turning into a car? Or
No,
a
not that
car
clip, but the
peeling
car,
away?
The car going down the road with the 3 guys on top of it while it's driving.
That's
sure it comes
That's from the series.
yeah,
It's from
that's
the
from
series?
various parts.
All right. Machio wants to know what's the longest anime we've watched. I'm gonna assume like
Hajime
we've
no
actually
Ippo.
watched all the way to the end.
Hajime no Ippo.
Prince of Tennis for me, I think. Oh wait, no. Well, no, I haven't finished all of Legend of Galactic Heroes.
Yeah, that's why I say finished because I know Logue is probably the.
Oh, wait, finished series?
I'm gonna say like what's the one you finished? That's the longest.
Because I caught up with a bunch.
Because I know Logue would probably be a contender if we caught all of it by now.
Naruto? No, I didn't
I
finish watching
didn't
that.
go past episode 13 for that.
Also, I don't know of any
I
series
think
called
I stopped.
Naruto.
I think I stopped when Shippuden
Oh,
started.
Shippuden? Yeah.
Ship Udon.
Shippuden.
Yeah.
I think mine might actually just be Sailor Moon because I saw 200 episodes. I saw the OVAs. I saw the movies. I mean, I've seen other things that are longer running, but I haven't seen.
Dragon Ball Z.
I didn't watch all of that.
I did. And then I watched a bunch of GT. And then I stopped watching forever.
Yeah, GT was weird.
Aha, good. I forgot which square screws went where, and so I'm glad I took pictures of them last time I took things apart.
Marmalade Boy was pretty long. It's 70
It's got a
some
box
episodes.
set, yeah.
Okay,
I
let's
mean, if
start.
anyone's ever seen all of One Piece or Detective Conan, those series go on forever.
Yeah, the thing I did with a lot of the big shonen shows is actually just start reading them instead of watching them.
That's
Because
fair.
it was not
There's a lot of filler.
worth spending 20 minutes when it takes like 3 minutes to read a chapter.
I generally lose interest in most of the Shonen Jump shows because I know that they will never end. because they almost never end. They're meant to be money makers. And like I think the only one, like I watched Assassination Classroom because I knew it had an ending,
Ah.
or at least was trying to achieve an end. And then I think I ended up watching Skit Dance a little bit with Beach because he was really into it.
He was?
Yeah,
Huh.
I really liked Skit Dance. I thought it was pretty okay.
I don't think Hunter x Hunter has ended Lurker Spine. They like the series did their reboot, and the author keeps going on hiatus.
Yeah, I've heard about the hiatus arcs.
I did see one of the bulked up Gon figures with the pointy hair with that little Santa hat all the way up on the hair spike, which was awesome. I have a Gon figure. A little vinyl. It's not that little, it's like half a foot.
You bought it in Japan.
I bought it in Japan with my money.
Your yen.
With my Japanese money.
Yeah. All the Japanese with their yen. Oh, 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 oh. How did in the donut shop, and the Japanese with their yen. Oh, oh, something or other Egyptians.
Let's just reboot Mummies Alive. Can we do that?
And have Ian come up with the theme song.
They are the mummies from 1855 BC. They are the mummies, protectors of the Pharisees. They are the mummies. They're hanging by the
I missed that
Frisco
show.
Bay. They are the mummies.
That might just be nostalgia, really, but
I don't think it's nostalgia with that show. Like, same with like the Mighty
Your
Ducks show,
friends
right?
today.
It's like, I know
Mighty
in my mind
Ducks.
exactly what that was like. But I really miss like the very late 90s, very early aughts
I miss a lot
brand
of the
of
really good
animation.
the really good Disney original shows. Like Pepper Ann and Fillmore.
I never got into Fillmore. I was definitely into Pepper Ann though.
God damn it.
Yes, Ian.
I put the motherboard back in without putting the SD card reader in.
Oh,
Oh,
that seems
good.
problematic.
Not everything is wrong.
Yeah. No, not everything is wrong. Because I kind of have to assemble this back together in order to test everything.
Yeah, Weekenders. I enjoyed Weekenders a lot.
And I don't know how we're going to be able to test this, to be honest, as well.
Is that because we don't have the things to do that with?
Well,
Or
it'll take a while to get us through to a testing stage. Because I have to
Well,
put...
it's 5 minutes to 9.
Yeah. I have to put on the hard drive the software that would be run, and then figure my life out. So maybe what I'll just do is we'll continue to we'll put this back together, and then I will test it out off screen, and I will show you the results on a future Tinker Tailor Solder Fry. How does that sound, everyone?
fancy.
Sounds pretty great. Yeah, thanks, Ian.
I said fancy.
No, I believe.
Would you prefer Ian? It sounds fantastic. I'm looking really forward to being here for that episode.
Thank you, Heather. I was actually asking you guys, but I really
I'm waiting for them to catch up. There's generally a bit of a delay.
takes a while for them to catch up. Get their stuff together. In that case, well, I'll just continue to put this together while I say thank you so much for watching this episode of Tinker Tailor Solder Fry.
You know what people should watch if they want to watch a cooking live action show?
No, we've got a lot of answers for that, actually.
They should watch Nobunaga no Chef.
That is the correct answer, yes.
But there's also Shoto no Sushi.
Oh, yes.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, wow, Heather, we need to introduce you to Sushi Bot.
Yes.
I don't think Sushi Bot's the highlight of that.
Who is the highlight of that, Corey?
Shota?
Sachi?
Shota?
Anyway, thank you so much for watching tonight on Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry. We really appreciate you hanging out with us here, and Kathleen's cooking, which was also a lot
It
of
was delicious.
fun and delicious to see. If you like what you see here, check out all the great shows over at loadingreadyrun.com. We've got our pre-recorded and our streamed content there. You can find our schedule there as well. And of course, we like to thank all of you who have chosen to choose. We know you have a lot of choices in your life, and you choose to support us either by watching or by going to our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, or by subscribing here on twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun. Corey, do you have today's subscribers for us to thank? A Cook Too Many is the first one with 3 months of subscription. Thank you so much, A Cook Too Many.
With Jamuk for 4 months. That's almost half a year. I can't read.
Red Blaze 57 is subscribed for 2 years, saying keep dreaming.
2 months.
2 months.
But keep dreaming for that 2 year. Stratos Reshurjugum 4 months.
User with a name 17 has subscribed for 17 months. Thank you, user with a name.
Hey, Nolly3 is a new subscriber.
Hey, thanks Nolly3. We appreciate your support. Lunatic93 has subscribed for 2 months, saying living in Minnesota equals super cheap dairy.
El
Conquistador.
Yeah, new subscriber.
Rusco has subscribed for 4 months. 4 months, that's almost 5 months. It is so close.
Suitably Epic has been suitably epic for 37 months and will probably continue to be so.
And Texas Man 208 has subscribed for 13 months, saying, is someone salty?
Dane McRae, 37 months, so many months, such good times.
The Sturgeon General has subscribed for 8 months. Thank you, the Sturgeon General.
Chef Stefan has been around for 24 months. That's 2 years.
Yeah. Nix216 is a new subscriber. Thanks, Nix216. We appreciate your support.
As Ralorn has been around for 12 months. That is half of 2 years.
Cool. Disimulate1 is subscribed for 12 months. Holy crap, 1 year.
RR Tycoon 2, 3 months. Ian has a charming solder cigar.
Juniper P1 is a subscriber for 9 months. I just ate dinner, and this stream is still making me hungry. I'm okay with this.
Sammy 1IM is a new subscriber. Welcome to the channel.
Aurelius MC is a new subscriber and the hottest MC here on the channel tonight.
KDH of Avalon 87 has been around in Avalon for 16 months. As I watch this, I keep something.
Darth Blasphemous is subscribed for 2 months. Thanks for your subscription, Darth Blasphemous. And thank you, Earthen One, for those bits. We appreciate the bits, the bits. So thank you so much for watching today. Tomorrow will be not 18 games and counting. Tomorrow will be a show called New Day Tuesday where we play new games. I don't remember what that new game is.
Resident Evil 7 is what is being played tomorrow because during Let's Nope, Alex is going to continue.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense.
That is the plan that I heard last time I looked at a thing.
Well, let's believe that that plan will continue into
I like to believe in plans
truth.
that I have said out loud.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you in a fortnight. Ever forward.
Never learning.